Good morning, students. Welcome you all in the revisionary classes organized by Board of Studies of ICAI. Students, today we are going to cover the topic statement of cash flows. So I'm sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah. So student, the statement of cash flows. In the first class, we discussed presentation of financial statement in DS 1. And these are the revisionary topic. So I believe that you guys have covered the complete video lecture of Indes 7, right? And these are the revisionary classes. So I will cover the concept with the help of the questions, right? I will discuss more and more questions till the end of the class, and I'll cover the concepts. Just to set the context, when we discussed presentation of financial statement, there are 5 components in the financial statement: balance sheet, statement of profit and loss, statement of cash flow, statement of changes in equity, and notes to accounts. In Ind AS 1, we discussed the guidance around balance sheet, guidance around P&L, statement of changes in equity, and notes to accounts. But for statement of cash flow, standard says that you need to refer Ind AS 7. Okay. So that's why we are discussing the statement of cash flows under Ind AS 7. That is number 1. Number 2, the entire financial statement has to be prepared on an accrual basis, but the cash flow statement is always on a cash basis. It is just like a cash account, right? So it has to be prepared on a cash basis. That is number 2. So friends, when we have to prepare the entire financial statement, right, on an accrual basis, how this cash flow will reflect the actual flow of cash. It means we have to use the profit which is arising from the accrual concept. Then we have to come to the net cash which is arised in the business, correct? So this is known as an indirect method. Okay. And what is a direct method? So direct method is whatever cash you have earned and whatever cash you have spent, that has to be captured in the cash flow statement. Okay. So friends, if I have to discuss the construct of the cash flow statement, so let me explain the construct with the help of an example, and then I'll come to the question. Okay. Just allow me a second. So friends, there is a example which is there on the Excel file. I hope my Excel file is visible to everyone. Yes. So if I talk about the construct of the cash flow statement, right? So what is the construct of the cash flow statement? The construct has been divided into 3 parts: cash flow from operating activity, cash flow from investing activity, and cash flow from financing activity, right? When you do a business, your entire business has been divided into 3 parts: operating activity, which is operation; investing activity, which is more like an investment; financing activity, which is more like a financing, like capital structure, debt and equity, equity and loan. Okay. So my dear friends, we need to identify what are the cash flows which are arising in the operating activity. And what is meant by operating activity? Operating activity is a revenue producing activity. Operating activity is the main activity of the business. Operating activity is the bread and butter of the business, right? So what we need to do, we need to start preparing our cash flow and starting with the profit before tax. Okay. In the question, if profit after tax is given and the tax expense is given, you have to start with profit after tax and you have to adjust that tax. Profit after tax plus tax expense, then you will arrive at profit before tax. Okay. In profit before tax, what you need to do? You need to add or less non-cash item. Can you give me an example of a non-cash item which is there in your profit? Can you give me an example of a non-cash item which is there in your profit and loss account? Depreciation. Depreciation. Very good, Saminathan. Depreciation. So depreciation is an operating item, right? But it is a non-cash item. It is not impacting your cash flow. I would request students whenever they unmute themselves, please mute immediately. Okay. Otherwise, there is a disturbance in the class. So depreciation is a non-cash item. Okay. And you are arriving at a cash flow. Okay. You are identifying what is my net cash, either which has come in or has gone out. Okay. So in the profit before tax, you need to adjust the non-cash item. For example, impairment. For example, depreciation. For example, unrealized foreign exchange gain or loss. Correct? So once you arrive at profit before tax plus non-cash item, you got a cash profit. Okay. But whether that cash profit is a profit, whether that a cash profit is from operating activity, answer is no. In your statement of profit and loss, there is an income which is sitting like interest income, interest received on fixed deposits. Whether that interest received on fixed deposits, is it an operating item? Whether my business is to deposit money into the bank, it is not my business. I have the surplus funds and hence I have deposited the money into the bank. Okay. So it is an investing item. And what is meant by investing activity? Investing activity is an activity which is arising from investing into the long-term assets of the company or investments of the company. Correct? So you are arriving at a cash flow from operating activity. In the profit before tax, you have done the adjustment of non-cash item. Now you have to do the adjustment of non-operating item. And what is meant by non-operating item? Which are either investing item or financing item. Correct? So this interest income, which you have credited in your profit and loss for arriving at the profit, right? You have to remove this interest income from operating item. Okay. So interest received, this is an investing activity. So you have to minus interest received. Okay. Because this has been credited to your P&L. Now you have to remove this interest received. Why? Because this item will go to cash flow from investing activity. Likewise, interest paid. Interest paid is a financing item. Okay. You paid interest on the loans which you have taken. Okay. Your business is not to take the loan. Taking a loan is kind of a capital structure. It is a financing activity, and hence interest paid on the loan is also a financing activity. It's a financing item. So in your statement of P&L, this interest paid has also been debited. Okay. It has reduced your profit. So what you will do, you will add back your interest paid, which is a financing activity item. What is a financing activity? Financing activity is an activity which is arising from the financing, which is arising from the capital structure of the entity. And what is meant by capital structure? Which includes equity and debt. Okay. So what we did, we have to adjust my investing and financing item, which is non-operating item. So when you do this, profit before tax plus non-cash item plus non-operating item, that is investing and financing item. Okay. You will get operating profit before changes in working capital. Okay. So you got the operating profit from operations before changes in working capital. Now you have to do the adjustments in the working capital. Okay. For example, the opening trade receivable was 100 rupees. The closing trade receivable is 60 rupees. What does it mean? The initial debtors was 100 rupees. The closing debtor was 60 rupees. What does it mean? So how do you prepare?
40 rupees received.
You have received 40 rupees, right? So how you prepare cash flow? You have to compare the balance sheet number, opening balance sheet plus closing balance sheet plus adjustments in P&L, right? That's how you arrive at a cash flow. Okay. So whenever you pass any accounting entry, it has an impact in the P&L or balance sheet, correct? These are the two destinations. P&L or balance sheet is a destination. Okay. So you compare the movement in the balance sheet and adjusting your P&L items also, which will give you the cash flow. So basically, if opening debtor was 100 rupees, the closing debtor was 60 rupees, it means net you have got 40 rupees. Okay. So you have got 40 rupees means there is a decrease in the asset, decrease in current asset. So decrease in current asset is increasing your what? Decrease in current asset is increasing your cash, correct? And why we are doing the changes in the working capital? Why? Because the opening debtor which is sitting at 100 rupees, right? For example, My debtor is 100 rupees in the beginning. I have made a sale of, let's say, 50 rupees during the year. My closing balance is 60 rupees. What does it mean? So 100 rupees opening balance, 50 rupees during the year sale. So total has to be 150, but the closing is 60 only. It means I have received 90 rupees during the year. So out of this 90 rupees, my 50 rupees pertains to the current year income. Yes or no? It is current year sales. Yes or no? Friends, I have an opening balance of 100 rupees of debtor. Okay.
Yes, sir.
My opening balance of debtor is 100 rupees. Okay. My sales during the year is 50 rupees. And my closing balance is what? It is 60 rupees. It means I have received cash of how much? I have received cash of 90 rupees. So this 90 rupee has to be reflected into the cash flow statement, net. But you started with your profit. Yes. In your profit, in your statement of profit and loss, what is the number which is there? आपके स्टेटमेंट ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस में कौन सा नंबर है? ड्यूरिंग द ईयर का नंबर होता है. इन योर स्टेटमेंट ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस, ड्यूरिंग द ईयर numbers are coming. Correct? Yes or no? Statement of P&L for the year.
Yes.
Yeah. So which number is there in your P&L?
Current sale.
Current year sales, right? 50 rupees. 50 rupees is there in your P&L, but you have received 90 rupees. It means 40 rupee is not there in your P&L. और हो भी नहीं सकता because this 40 rupee pertains to the opening balance of the debtor, the sales which were made till last year. Yes. But you have received
Yes,
cash.
sir.
But you have received cash. It means this change in working capital is also requires some adjustments. Yes or no? And what is that adjustment? Out of 90 rupee which you have received, 50 rupees already there in your P&L, right? It means I have to make an adjustment of 40 rupees, right? Through movement in working capital. And what is that 40 rupees? 90 minus 50, 40 rupees. And which is also the difference between the opening balance and the closing balance, right? 40 rupees. Okay. So friends, this decrease in current asset is increasing your cash flow, right? Likewise, if there is an increase in current asset, what does it mean? If there is an increase in current asset. So let's say instead of opening balance was 100, sales was 50, and your closing balance is 110. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means, let's say closing balance is 120. It means you have received a cash of 30. Yes. 100 rupees opening balance of debtor. Closing balance, 100 rupees is the opening balance of the debtors. And your sales are 50 rupees. Your cash which you have received is 30 rupees. Your closing balance is 120 rupees. Now tell me, what is included in your statement of P&L? Because you have profit. Current year sales. Yes. And what is the number of current year sales?
50.
50 rupees. But how much cash you have received?
30. So 20 is credit sales.
30 rupees, right? So 50 rupees there in your P&L, which you have started with profit before tax, right? You are assuming that I have got 50 rupees, okay? But you haven't got 50 rupees. You only received 30 rupees. Yes. So it means 20 rupee adjustment is required.
Yes.
So how will you do the adjustment of 20 rupees? What is my opening balance versus what is my closing balance? 20 rupees my closing balance. 20 rupees the movement. Opening minus closing. It means I have received less 20 rupees. So what I'll do, this is an increase in current asset. What I'll do, I will reduce my cash flow. Okay. So increase in current asset is reducing your. Now have you understood the concept? That conceptually why this, after adjusting non-cash item, after adjusting non-operating item, why we are doing the changes in working capital?
Sir, hello.
Is that clear? Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, can you please explain the logic of 20?
Yes, I have recently explained the logic of 28. What I've explained, let's say you have the opening balance of the debtor for 100 rupees, right? 100
Yes.
rupees the opening balance of debtor. What does it mean? It means I have made a credit sale till last year and I have to receive 100 rupees from my debtors, correct?
Yeah.
During the year, I have made a sale of 50 rupees.
Yes, sir.
Yes. But during the year, I have received the cash of 30 rupees only. So what is my closing balance of debtor?
120.
120. Can you please mute yourself? Because there is a lot of background noise. So closing balance is 120 rupees. Okay. It means my opening balance of debtor was 100. Closing balance of debtor is 120. It means I haven't received any amount out of the last year. And I have also not received 20 rupees out of the current year. तभी तो डेटर का बैलेंस बढ़ गया ना. That is why the debtor balance has increased. Otherwise, it would not have been increased. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, in your statement of P&L, what number is coming? Current year sales, current year revenue, because your P&L is prepared on an accrual basis. Your balance sheet is prepared on an accrual basis. Financial statements are preparing on an accrual basis. From the accrual basis, you are finding net cash. Correct?
Yes.
So what is the cash which you have generated during the year out of this transaction?
During the year,
30 rupees,
rupees.
na? 30 rupees.
Yeah.
30 रुपए आए ना? But
Yeah.
what is sitting in your P&L?
P&L
50.
50
50.
rupees. Sales revenue है ना 50 rupees का. 50
Yeah.
rupees sitting in your P&L. In P&L there is a 50 rupees which is flowing in your profit before tax. But you have received 30 rupees. So don't you think this 20 rupee adjustment is required for arriving at the
Yeah.
right cash? And how will
Yeah.
you arrive at this 20 rupee adjustment? Your opening balance of debtor minus closing balance of debtor, 20 rupees. So this is your debtor adjustment. This is your working capital adjustment, current asset adjustments. So when your current assets are increasing, it means your cash flow is decreasing. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Sir, can we consider it as a credit sales?
Yes, it is a credit sale. Of course, it is a credit sale, right? But credit sale is not a non-cash item. So non-cash item कौन सी होती? Notional होती है. जैसे depreciation is a non-cash item. Okay. So this 20 rupees. So what I'm saying, why this changes in working capital is required. So that is the logic which I have given with the help of this debtor movement. Okay. So whenever there's a decrease in current asset, your cash flow will increase. Whenever there is an increase in current asset, your cash flow will decrease. Vice versa. Whenever your increase in current liability, or whenever your current liability will increase, of course your cash flow will increase. Yes or no?
Yes.
Your opening creditor was 100 rupees. Your closing creditor was 150 rupees. What does it mean? It means you have
Increase in creditors.
paid less cash to creditors, right? आपने
Yes.
creditor को cash pay नहीं किया. But whenever there are creditors क्यों आए होंगे? Either you have made a purchases or you have made a sales. Sorry, you have made a
Yes.
purchases or you have incurred an expense,
Purchases made.
right?
Purchases
made.
yes.
Purchases made or even expense incurred, because there could be a vendor from which you have taken a services also, right? So purchases
Yes.
or services. So in your statement of profit and loss, this purchases or expenses, that is already adjusted in your profit and loss. Your profit before tax has already been reduced. Yes. But since your creditor have increased, you haven't paid your money to the creditors, right?
Right, sir.
So that is why whenever there's an increase in current liability, it means there is an increase in cash flow. Okay. So increase in cash flow means you have to make an adjustment in the cash flow statement, positive adjustment. Whenever there's a decrease in current liability, it means you have paid your liabilities, right? So this increase and decrease, you are looking from opening balance to closing balance. Okay. So with this, when you adjust your operating profit before in the operating profit before changes in working capital, when you adjust your working capital movement, you got the cash flow from operations. And in the cash flow from operations, when you reduce your income tax paid, okay, you will get the cash flow from operating activities. And this cash flow from activities is cash from running the business. Okay. Then there is a cash flow from investing activity. It is pretty simple. Then it is not coming through profit or something else. This is hardcore cash. What is my purchases of PPE, property, plant and equipment? What is my proceeds from sale of property, plant and equipment? Actual cash paid, actual cash received, investment in mutual fund and bonds, actual investment made, interest received, dividend received, redemption of investment. These all are cash flow from investing activities, right? So this
Sir.
cash flow from investing activities, cash from used in supporting either cash generated or cash used in supporting the operations. Yes, Saminathan.
Sir, I need one clarification. When the current asset is decreasing, we are received the cash. The cash is absolute. We understood. But when you increase the current asset, the cash, absolute cash is not in such a case.
The cash is not?
Cash is not paid. No, that position is not. I'm unclear about it. When it's decreasing, the cash is received. When the current assets is increasing, that only I mean the credit sales like that. That why we are considering actual cash.
So, Saminathan, so I have shown you the data schedule. What is the nature of the data? Current asset?
A credit.
Data is a current asset?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So why debtor balance will increase? Because of the credit sales?
Yes, sir.
But not only because of the credit sales. There are two factors, two elements to it. Because of the credit sales, and for those credit sales, cash has not been received. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So you are into a business where 30 days credit period is there. Okay.
Okay.
So 30-day credit period is there. You are making a credit sale and you are receiving the money after 30 days from the date of the sale. Okay. So at the end of the year, you will always have a credit sale. You will always have a debtor balance equivalent to the last month sales. Correct?
Yes, sir.
In the last year also, the same number may be there if you are making a constant sale.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So whether is there any change in the opening balance versus closing balance of the debtor? Assuming 100 rupee credit sale is in every month and you are receiving after 30 days.
No, sir. No
Difference?
change.
No difference. Okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
Why no difference? Because every year you are making a credit sale equivalent to 12 months and you are also getting a cash for 12 months. Right?
Oh, right, sir.
And this entire credit sale is sitting in your profit before tax because of the profit and loss account. Because you are preparing on an accrual basis. Right? Yes or no?
Right, sir.
Your profit and loss account includes your sale, purchases, income, expenses, everything. Okay. And since you are preparing your books of accounts on accrual basis, you are starting your cash flow statement with profit before tax in the indirect method. Okay. So
Okay.
in this profit before tax, when your data is increasing, what does it mean? For example, I have given you this schedule. Your opening balance of data was 100 rupees. Your sales during the year was how much? 50 rupees. Okay. Cash received is 30 rupees. So your closing balance become 120 rupees. Correct? So
Right,
tell
sir.
me how much sales is sitting in your statement of profit and loss during the year?
50.
50 rupees. But have you received 50 rupees during the year?
No.
30 rupees you have received, right? It means whatever amount which is sitting in your profit before tax, when you start preparing your cash flow, you started with profit before tax. So what is sitting in profit before tax? How much of sale?
50
50
rupees.
rupees.
Yes.
सेल में 50 रुपीज आया ना, प्रॉफिट में 50 रुपी का कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन है ना?
Yes, sir.
Yes. But have you done any adjustment? So this 50 rupee was not the, the cash received. This 50 rupee was the sales made, and out of this 50, 30 rupee was received. Correct?
Right, sir.
So when you have to arrive at how much cash you have earned from your business, right? So have you earned 50 rupees or 30 rupees? Cash. I'm talking about cash.
30 rupees.
30 rupees during the year. Okay. And here you are finding cash. So don't you think 20 rupee adjustment is required? Because
Yes,
you have
sir.
started with profit before tax. In profit before tax, the credit sales of 50 rupees is sitting, out of which 30 rupee has been received. Don't you think 20 rupee adjustment is required? And whether this sale is a non-cash item? Whether credit sale is like a depreciation?
Yes, sir.
No, it is not like a depreciation. Sales are not a depreciation. Like depreciation is like a notional item, non-cash item. Okay. Sales are never non-cash item. These are the credit sales, right? For depreciation, you will never receive a cash, but for the sales which you have made, you will receive a cash. So credit sales are not a non-cash item. But the fact is, you have not received a cash to the extent of 20 rupees. Okay. So that is why this changes in working capital is required to find out what is the actual cash which has been incurred, right? So
Okay,
ये
sir.
20 रुपी का एडजस्टमेंट कहां से आया? इंक्रीज इन करंट एसेट से आया. So that is what I have given the logic. But don't get confused. Whenever the question will come into the exam, so what is your operations? What is your operating activity template? What is your operating activity procedure? Start with profit before tax in the P&L. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Adjust non-cash item. What is the meaning of non-cash item? Non-cash item are those items against which you will never receive cash and you will never pay cash. Okay, depreciation. Are you paying cash for depreciation?
No, sir.
Never. Are you paying cash for impairment loss? Are you
No,
paying cash for your unrealized foreign exchange?
no, sir.
Until and unless when it will be realized, right? So these are the non-cash item, and you understood that I need to adjust my non-cash item in the profit because I am arriving at cash profit. Then you have to remove the item which will go into the investing and financing item, but it is sitting in your statement of profit and loss, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then you have to adjust your working capital. So whenever there's a decrease in current asset, it means more cash is received. Whenever there's an increase in current asset, it means less cash has been received. Less cash ही आया ना, 30 रुपए आया. But in my earlier example, more cash. जहां पर 100 rupee was the opening balance, 60 rupees the closing balance. So 40 rupee additional cash आया था. Correct? So
Yes, sir.
likewise, if your decrease in current asset means more cash is received, what is meant by increase in current liability? Again, whenever your increase in current liability, less cash has been paid. मतलब आपका कैश बढ़ जाएगा. Okay? So increase in current liability, it has to be added. Decrease in current liability, it has to be reduced. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Clear? So then it will be cash flow from operations. Then you have to reduce your income taxes paid. Then you will receive cash flow from operating activities. Okay, this is the answer of cash flow from operating activity. Then cash flow from investing activity. So whenever money is coming, it is cash flow from. Whenever money is going, it is cash flow used. Okay, the word is cash flow used. So these are the examples of investing activity. What is the financing activity example? Equity share issued, share capital issued, loan taken from bank, dividend paid, interest paid. These are the example from cash flow from financing activity. Okay. Uppercase is saying here we are assuming that there is a no bad debt. There is no bad debt. Okay. So what happened? What happened if there is a bad debt? So let's take one more example. Guys, if you go with the logic, you will never make any mistake in an exam. Okay. Let's say my opening balance of debtor was 100 rupees. Okay. zero sales. There was no sales which was made during the year. Okay. There was no cash which was received during the year. But there was one debtor which goes bankrupt, Okay. So the company has created provision for bad debt. There was a debtor pertaining to 30 rupees which become bankrupt and company has created a provision for bad debt. So what is my closing balance of debtor? What is my closing balance of debtor?
70.
70 rupees. What is the accounting entry for provision for bad debt?
Bad debt debtor to provision.
Provision for bad debt expense debit to debtor. Okay. This is the accounting entry.
Yes.
So this provision for bad debt has been adjusted into your P&L.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It means the profit which you are taking, profit before tax, whether this provision for bad debt has reduced your profit,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
whether this provision for bad debt is a cash item or a non-cash item. You just create a provision.
Non-cash.
Non-cash.
Item. So what you will do, you will adjust your provision for bad debt here. Provision for bad debt. Okay. Provision for bad debt you will adjust here. And what is the amount? It is 30 rupees. Provision for bad debt. Right. So this part is clear. Now, so you have arrived at operating profit before changes in working capital. Now you are checking your working capital, current asset, current liability movement. So what is the current asset movement? Opening balance minus closing balance. What is the movement?
30.
30 rupees. From 30 rupees, your debtor has been reduced. So whenever there is an increase in current asset, whenever there is a decrease in current asset, it will be positive. 30 rupees. There is a decrease in current assets, right? So decrease in current asset, what you will do? You will add 30 here, right? You will add 30 here. So will you add 30 here?
No.
Why no?
It has been adjusted in provision for bad debts.
It has been already adjusted in provision for bad debt, right? So one adjustment has already been taken. The adjustment has already been taken, right? So either you can adjust here, or what you can do simply, directly, what you haven't received any money from the debtors, but 30 rupee has been adjusted in the P&L. So you can take this 30 rupees here also, right? So that your cash flow from operations, so there is no cash received from the debtors, but your debtor have been decreased, current asset has been decreased. कोई कैश नहीं आया बट करंट एसेट कम हो गए. क्या कोई कैश आया? नहीं आया. So this 30 rupees either can be taken provision for bad debt, or if this 30 rupee can be taken here. Okay. So this is the adjustment of provision for bad debt. So you just need to think the simple logic I can give you. You just need to think what is the cash which have been received and what is the cash which has been gone out. Simple. And whether that adjustment is there either here or here. You just need to think about. That's all. Okay. So friends, this is cash flow from operating activity, investing activity, and financing activity. So when you add all the net item, operating, investing, financing, you will get a net cash changes from all the activity, net cash movement from all the activity, right? For example, in this case, it is 3,120. I'm just giving an example, right? So this is the net cash movement during the year. So during the year, you have earned a cash of 3,120. Okay. And in your balance sheet, the opening cash and cash equivalent was, let's say, 250 rupees. So what is your closing cash and cash equivalent? The opening cash plus the cash earned during the year. That should be tallied with your closing cash in the balance sheet. So friends, to cut a long story short, you need to understand what is the operating activity, what is investing activity, what is financing activity, and what is the meaning of cash and cash equivalent, right? These are the four important concepts in your statement of cash flows. That is number one. Number two, the cash flow statement has to be prepared on a cash basis. Okay. Number 3, there are 2 methods of preparation of the cash flow statement. Number 1, direct method. Number 2, indirect method. What is meant by direct method? Whatever cash which you have received and whatever cash which you have paid. So you have to directly take those cash into your cash flow statement. For example, in operating activity, instead of starting with the profit, you can start with cash received from the debtors, cash collected from the sales, okay, amount paid to the supplier, amount paid to the vendor, okay. So you are just preparing like a cash account in the operating activity, okay. But in the indirect method, you start with your profit before tax, you adjust non-cash item, you adjust non-operating item, then you adjust the changes in working capital, then you reduce the cash which is paid for income taxes, and then you get the cash flow from operating activity. For investing activity and financing activity, doesn't matter, either it is direct method or indirect method, you are always presenting the actual cash received and actual cash paid for investing and financing activity. That's all for investing and financing activity, right? Correct. So in the exam, if nothing is specified, then we can take any method. Yes, you can take any method, but apply your judgment whether you have sufficient information which is there with respect to your direct method or not. Okay. So you can, yes, you can do, but please write down the assumption that we are solving this question with the help of direct. Okay. So friends, direct method, indirect method, operating activity, investing activity, financing activity, cash and cash equivalent. So these are the important concepts. Now I'm getting into the question. With the help of the question, I will clear more and more concept. Okay. So friends, please confirm if my Word file is visible, which is circulated to you guys for statement of cash flow. Please confirm if it is visible. Question number 1.
Visible.
Okay. Company has provided the following information regarding the various assets held by company on 31st March 20x1. Find out which of the following items will be part of cash and cash equivalent. Okay. For the purpose of preparation of cash flow statement as per guidance provided in Ind AS 7. Okay. So the question is asking that out of these items, which item is cash and cash equivalent? We all understand cash. What is cash? It is a liquid money lying with you, the cash, currency, and the cash on bank. But what is meant by cash equivalent? What is meant by cash equivalent?
Those are repayable in 3 months.
Those are repayable. You are talking about asset. Asset is never repayable. Asset is receivable.
Sorry, yes.
Can be at
Which
our
are-
disposable at any time, like bank balance.
Okay. So cash and cash equivalent. First of all, where students are making a mistake, they don't understand the logic or they don't understand the concept of cash and cash equivalent, right? What is cash? You all understand. Cash on hand is a cash. Correct? And even if the cash which is lying in your bank account is also a cash. Yes or no?
Yes,
Cash,
sir.
I'm not saying cash ka matlab wo wala literal cash. I am saying cash means highly liquid money which is there in your pocket. आपकी पॉकेट में करेंसी नहीं है. You don't have 100 rupee note, 200 rupee note, but you have debit card. You have ATM card. Yes or no?
Yes.
You go
Yes,
to the
sir.
bank. You are not required to wait for the bank to open at 9:30. Right? Even in the midnight at 2 a.m., you go to the ATM, you swipe your card and you get the money. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So cash includes your cash in hand and demand deposits. Demand deposits means whenever you demand, you get the money. That's all. Means cash at bank. But what is meant by cash equivalent? What is meant by cash equivalent? So let me take you back to my presentation. Cash comprises cash on hand and demand deposits. Okay. Like cash at bank, it is on your demand. Okay. And what is meant by cash equivalent? cash equivalent are the short-term, highly liquid, highly liquid investments. What is meant by short-term? What is meant by highly liquid investment? Okay. Short-term, highly liquid investment that are readily convertible to non-amount of cash and which are subject to an insignificant risk of change in value. Cash and cash equivalent, it includes your cash on hand, it includes your cash in bank, it includes your short-term. What is meant by short-term?
Within 3 months.
Within a period of 3 months. Within a period of 3 months. It means the item which you can convert into a cash within a period of 3 months. Okay. Short term. Highly liquid investment. Highly liquid investment means you have a potential to sell your property. You want to sell your property. Okay. And you know that, okay, I will be able to sell my property in 3 months. But whether that property is a cash equivalent?
No, sir.
It has to be highly liquid. Highly liquid का मतलब क्या है? I have
Bear.
money. I have, fund in my mutual funds. Okay. So 2 days back, I got some requirement of money, which I will be needing after 5 days. Okay. So I have some corpus. I have some funds in my mutual fund. Okay. And I got to know that I will need some money after 5 days. So yesterday, I given the instruction for redeeming the mutual fund. I'm using the app and I've redeemed my mutual fund. And tomorrow I will get a credit in my bank account. So whether this mutual fund is highly liquid or not.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Highly liquid.
Yes.
Whether shares are highly liquid or not.
Yes.
I had
Yes, sir.
shares of Reliance, for example, right? So just 10 days back, I was in need of some money. Okay, then I was just thinking what I should do. From whom I get the money? I spoke to my friend. He told me I don't have money. So what I did, I opened my Demat account. I sold my Reliance share. I got the money just in 2 days. So whenever I placed the request, I did the transaction. I got the money into my bank account because first the share has to be sold. The money has to be credited in your Demat account, in your Demat account. Then you will transfer from Demat account to your bank account. So the whole process took 2 days. Whether these shares are highly liquid or not.
Yes.
Yes, you are talking about 3 months. I am giving you 2 days, right? So these are highly liquid investment. So whether all these mutual fund, all these shares, whether it will cover under cash equivalent?
No, sir.
No, because they are subject to significant risk of change in
Yes.
value.
So basically, if you stop reading in the middle of this definition, your answer would be yes. But when you complete the definition, your answer would be no, right? Like Abrikesh told, sir, it is short term. It is highly liquid also, right? And which is readily convertible to cash. But the word used in the definition is readily convertible to non-amount of cash, which is subject to not a significant risk of change in value. For example, on 31st March, I have Reliance shares on 31st March. Okay. And the share price, when I invested, the share price was, let's say, 1300 rupees. Sitting on 31st March, and on 31st March, I know that I will sell these shares on 10th of April. Sitting on 31st March, am I aware that what money I will get when I sell Reliance share on 10th of April?
No.
No, it has a significant risk of change in value. It has a significant risk of change in value. But you have deposited FD in State Bank of India, right? You have fixed deposit with State Bank of India on 31st March 2025. You have to redeem this FD on 10th of April. Are you aware on 31st March that what money you will receive by redeeming
Yes.
that FD?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It means there is no significant risk of change in value. There is no risk of change in value. Have you understood this?
Yes,
Yes.
Have you understood this concept? So friends, short-term highly liquid investment which is readily convertible to cash, but not readily convertible to cash, readily convertible into non-amount of cash. You know what is the money which you are going to receive. You know that, right? And which has not a significant risk of change in value. और जहां पर change in value का बहुत बड़ा risk नहीं है, which does not have a significant risk of change in value. Is that clear?
Sir,
Is that just hold on? Is that clear?
Sir.
With the help of the example of shares, will you be able to remember always what is the meaning of cash equivalent? So shares and mutual funds are not the cash equivalent, but you have invested in debentures, you have invested in bonds, which is giving you the redemption value plus fixed amount of interest, right? So those kind of investment, if it is short term and highly liquid, right, whether that will be covered under cash equivalent?
yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. You are asking a question. Yeah,
No,
please.
sir. Got it clear now.
Is that clear now?
Yeah.
Yes. So friends, now let's solve the question number 1, which is there on your screen in the Word file. While this question is also in my PowerPoint presentation, can I use here only?
Okay,
Illustration
sir.
number 1, same
Yes,
illustration, which is in the Word file. Okay. So let me use this illustration. Fixed deposit with State Bank of India, 12%, 3 years maturity on 1st January 20x4. So you are sitting on 31st March 20x1 and you have deposited money with State Bank of India, and this is for 3
No
years
CC.
and it is going to be redeemed on 1st January 20x4. Is it highly liquid?
No, sir.
No.
It is for long term. So the fixed deposit, which is for 3 months, original maturity is for 3 months from the date of deposit. So this is not a short. So forget about cash equivalent. This is not a current asset even, right? This is a non-current asset. Okay. Fixed deposit with HDFC Bank, 10%. Original term was for 2 years. Original term was for 2 years, but due for maturity for 30th June 2001. Whether this
Short
will
term.
be the cash equivalent?
Yes.
Yes.
No. So the
No, sir.
another condition, while it is a current asset, it is a short-term investment. Why? Because this will redeem, this fixed deposit will mature after 3 months, right? Within 3 months, 30th June ko hai, means within 90 days. But for getting into the definition of cash equivalent, it says that the original maturity, when the deposit has been made, the original maturity should be for 90 days. It should be for 3 months. But what was the original term for this fixed deposit?
2 years.
2 years. So the original maturity was not for 90 days, not for 3 months. It was for 2 years. Okay. The remaining period is 90 days. The remaining period is 3 months. Remaining period is 3 months. Okay. So for cash equivalent, only those fixed deposit will come which has a original maturity of 3 months. Okay.
Yeah, from the acquisition date.
From the acquisition date. Right?
Sir,
Yes.
but in definition, there is no such hint about original
The
maturity.
clarification. So the clarification has been inserted. Right? So in definition, it is not there. Definition के बाद interpretations भी तो होती हैं. Okay? So in the clarification, it is given. Right?
But can we say that interest is cash and cash equivalent, and principal is non-cash and cash equivalent?
Interest
In
is.
case of interest is CCE and principal is not CCE, kind of.
So generally in these cases, what you do, you go by the instrument, right? Like for fixed asset, if you have inserted a component into the fixed asset, what you will do, the component which you are depreciating is into the remaining life of that main principal asset, right? So likewise, you will not say that interest is my cash and cash equivalent, but principal is not a cash and cash equivalent, right? So generally you go by the main instrument. Okay. So whether your FD is a cash or cash equivalent or not. Okay. So what the clarification says, first of all, it has to be short-term, highly liquid investment, which has to be convertible into a non-amount of cash and which does not have a significant risk of change in value. Okay. And the second part is, whenever you talk about the fixed deposit, so the original maturity has to be for 3 months. Matlab, whenever you have invested, if it has been invested for 3 months, it has invested for 3 months, it has to be taken as a cash equivalent. Otherwise, if the remaining period, like in this case, the original maturity was for 2 years, okay, when it was invested, but as on 31st March, the remaining period is only 3 months, okay. So this will be a current asset, but it is not a cash equivalent. It could be other bank balances. It could be other current assets, okay, right? So friends,
Yes,
you
sir.
just need to remember in your mind that original for fixed deposits, for deposits, original maturity ka matlab, when you have invested from that date, have you invested for 3 months? क्या आपने FD 3 महीने की कराई है? Okay, is that clear? Yeah. So what was the answer for the first question? Not to be considered. It is a long term. What is the question for second? Exclude, as original maturity is not less than 90 days from the date of acquisition, not from the date of balance sheet, from the date of acquisition, right? What is the answer of the third one? What is the answer of the third one? Redeemable preference share in ABC Limited. It is not equity share, redeemable preference share. Acquired on 31st January 20x1. And the redemption is due on 30th April 20x1.
It is
Cash
cash
equivalent.
equivalent.
Yes, sir, it's
Cash and
included.
cash.
It
Yeah.
was originally invested for 3 months only. And this preference share does not have a significant risk of change in value. And you know, whatever money you have to spend and what you will get. Okay. So this will be your
Cash
cash
equivalent.
and cash equivalent. Cash balance at various banks.
Yes, sir.
Whether cash at
Cash.
Yes.
bank, of course, it is a cash. Cash balance at various bank, all international branches of Indian Bank.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Of
Yes.
course, it is also cash. Cash balance at various banks, branches of foreign banks outside
Cash.
India.
Yes, sir.
It is
Yes.
also a cash.
Yes, sir.
Bank overdraft
Yes, sir.
of SBI fourth
Yes.
branch.
Yeah.
Temporary overdraft which is payable on demand.
Yes, yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Cash equivalent. Cash.
Students, you all must be pursuing your articleship. Okay? Or you have pursued your articleship. So when you are dealing with client balance sheet, right, you must have done some audit. You must have prepared some balance sheet practically in your practical training, right? So in your practical training, when you are doing your practical training, when you are preparing your balance sheet, so you are not only preparing Ind AS financial statement, you must have been preparing or auditing IGAP financial statement also. आप accounting standard वाला भी काम करते हो ना अपने
Yes,
articleship
sir.
period में?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Yes. So friends, this bank overdraft, and why I am telling you this, because people are making mistake in the examination. So what happened? Since you guys are doing your articleship and you have also prepared accounting standard financial statement or you have audited accounting standard financial statement. So this bank overdraft is like a liability. It is a liability. It is coming into the liability side of your balance sheet as a short-term borrowings. Correct? In IGAP, this bank overdraft treatment is like a borrowing, and whenever there is an increase in bank overdraft, it will come under financing activity. As a bank overdraft increase means cash has come. Bank overdraft paid. If the bank overdraft reduce, it is money paid. So this bank overdraft is a financing activity. Can you please mute yourself? I don't know who is unmuted, but can you please mute yourself? Friends, in Ind AS, para number 8 of Ind AS 7, it says that if bank overdraft is for managing the operation, right, this cash and cash equivalent also include bank overdraft if this bank overdraft is part of the working capital management, right? So why you have taken a bank overdraft? You have taken a bank overdraft. For example, you have issued a cash and you don't have money into your bank, but your cash will not be bounced. Okay. your check will not be bounced and your check can be cleared by the bank. For that, you have taken a bank overdraft, right? So if this bank overdraft is for the working capital management, generally, bank overdraft is always for the working capital management generally. So this bank overdraft will become part of your cash and cash equivalent. It will not come under the financing activity. Okay. So this is the clarification. This is one of the difference between accounting standard and Ind AS in respect of cash flow statement. So generally, where a student make a mistake, because in the practical life, he was auditing or he was preparing ICAI balance sheet also, right? In ICAI financial statement, this bank overdraft is part of the financing activity. But in Ind AS, this bank overdraft is part of your cash and cash equivalent. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this bank overdraft is also part of cash and cash equivalent. So let's say if you have a cash on hand of 100 rupees, if you have a bank balance of 50 rupees, if you have a bank overdraft of 20 rupees, what is your cash and cash equivalent?
170.
100 and
30.
130.
130. Bank overdraft is a liability, not an asset.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cash on hand 100 rupees, cash at bank 50 rupees, total 150 minus bank overdraft 20 rupee, closing balance of cash and cash equivalent 130. Okay. So in your asset side of the balance sheet, cash in hand and cash at bank will come. In your liability side of the balance sheet, bank overdraft will come. But in your cash flow statement, this cash and cash equivalent at the bottom of the cash flow statement will be cash in hand plus cash at bank. I mean to say whatever cash and cash equivalent is there minus bank overdraft. Okay. Now tell me whether cash and cash equivalent in the balance sheet can be negative. Whether cash and cash equivalent in the balance sheet can be negative.
Yes.
No, no, sir.
Can be overdraft.
Yes, sir.
Bank overdraft.
Can be negative.
Yeah, yeah. If bank overdraft is more than the cash, then it will be negative.
Again, I am asking the same question. Can the cash and cash equivalent can be negative in the balance sheet? The second question. So hear me out. Question number 1, whether cash and cash equivalent can be negative in the balance sheet. Question number 2, whether cash and cash equivalent can be negative in the cash flow statement. Now answer my question.
Cash and cash equivalent cannot be negative in balance sheet, but cash and cash equivalent can be negative in cash flows.
You are absolutely right. So this cash and cash equivalent, matlab asset, it has to come from in the asset side of the balance sheet. Bank overdraft has to come into the liability side of the balance sheet. Bank overdraft is a short-term borrowing. This change is not in the balance sheet. This change is in the cash flow statement. Whenever you prepare and present cash flow statement, right? So cash and cash equivalent cannot be never negative in the balance sheet, right? But cash and cash equivalent can be negative in the statement of cash flow. Why? As Abrakesh told, when your bank overdraft is more than your cash and cash equivalent balances, I mean to say, when your liability, bank overdraft liability is more than your cash balances, then it will be negative, right? But in your balance sheet, it can never be negative. Why? Because it has to be reflected gross. Gross means what? Asset on the asset side, liability on the liability side. Okay. So you are right, Prithviraj. In the balance sheet, the presentation of bank overdraft is same in Ind AS as well as AS. The only difference in the treatment in the cash flow statement. Okay. Is that right? Okay.
Right, sir.
Treasury bills, 90 days maturity. 90 days maturity.
Cash equivalent.
Cash.
Included.
Yes. It has to be included as a cash equivalent.
Sir, what is treasury bills?
So treasury bills are just like a government securities, like GSEC, like RBI bonds. Okay. It is issued by the government. It is one of the mode of investment, right? where you are aware if you are spending, let's say 100 rupees today, the government will give you 105 rupees after 3 years. After 3 months. Right? Yes. So friends, now let me take you to the next question. And now I'll take you to the question number 8. Then I'll come to the question number 2. Question number 8. I hope the question number 8 is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible? Is it visible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. From the following data, identify the nature of activity as per Ind AS 7. Nature of transaction, right? As I told you, operating activity is for running the business. Okay. Operating activity is a revenue producing activity. Can you please mute yourself? Students, I would request all of you that you are CA final students. Please remember to mute yourself. Okay. Because a lot of background noise is coming. It is not good for you as well as not good for the other students as well. Yes, operating activity is a revenue producing activity, main activity of any business. Investing activity is an activity which is supporting the operation of the business, which is for the long-term assets, which is for the investment. Financing activity is an activity which is relating to the capital structure, which is debt and equity, loans, borrowings, equity shares, right? So we need to identify these transactions into the different activity. In your exam, this question will come, for example, there are some balances and you have to allocate. You have to identify what is my cash flow from operating activity, what is my cash flow from investing activity, and what is my cash flow from financing activity. This question will come into the exam and you need to answer. Tell me what should be the answer. Tell me what should be the answer. Cash paid to employees. Cash paid to employees.
Operating activities.
Operating activities. Because the employees, because these employees will work for the company, they will help into the producing the output, they will help in the running the operations, right? So cash paid to employees is an operating activity. Very good. This is an operating activity. Operating activity. OA. Cash paid to development.
Investing.
Cash paid to development of property costs.
Investment
IA.
activity.
Investing
activity, right? You have paid for the development of property. Okay. So this is investing activity. This is investing activity. Borrowings repaid. You had taken a loan.
activities.
Which one?
Financing.
Financing activity. Financing activity. Very good. Cash paid to suppliers.
Operating activities.
You paid to suppliers for your purchases, for your expenses. Loan given to director.
Operating
Financing
activities.
activities.
Investing activity.
Operating.
Investing activity.
Operating.
Financing.
Operating.
First of all, you think before answering any question. First of all, mute yourself. Okay. Let me explain and then you should explain. Loan given to director. Loan given to director. So the company has given a loan. It is an asset for the company. So one of the student told financing activity. So whether company has taken a loan? Answer is no. Company has given a loan. It is an asset, not a liability. When you talk about the capital structure, it means when you are arranging the funds, you means company. Okay. So how will you arrange the funds? Either through equity or through a debt. Means या तो वो equity में आएगा या आपकी liability में आएगा. Whether the loan given to director, is it a capital structure? Is it a capital structure? Answer is no. No. So one thing is very clear. It will never be financing activity. Clear है ना? ये तो clear है ना? Loan given to director ये asset है.
Yes.
Is that
Yes, sir.
clear? यहाँ तक clear है. Okay.
Yes.
Now, two activity remains. Operating activity, investing activity. Right. Whenever you have a doubt, follow the rule of elimination. जब भी doubt हो, elimination rule follow करो, right? So financing तो 100% नहीं होगा. Now either it has to be operating or it has to be investing. So whether the job of the company, whether the bread and butter of the company, whether the ordinary activity of the company is to give a loan to the director.
No.
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 The director wants some loan, right? And hence the company has given a loan to the director by passing all the formalities of the Companies Act. So this loan given to director, the loans given, it is just like an investment to the company. The company will receive interest, the company will receive the refund of the principal in the future. So it will be an investing activity. It is not an operating activity, right? It will be an investing activity. Loan given, loan taken is a financing activity. Loan given is an investing activity. The company has taken a loan from the promoter. What is the nature of this activity? Financing activity. So instead from the bank, the company has taken a loan from the director or the promoter. It is a liability. Loan taken, but loan given to, loan to director. Loan from director is a financing activity. Loan to director is an investing activity. Bonus share issued. Share
Financing.
capital.
Non-cash
Share
activity. Non-cash activity.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, loan to employees is a operating activity or investing activity?
Loan to employee is an investing activity. Loan. The company has given a loan. The company will get the refund of this loan. It is an investing activity. The company business is not to give the loan to employee. The company business is to provide the salary to the employee. When I was married 13 years ago, so I was in the need of the money. So I requested my employer to give me some, the loan, give me loan to me, right? So we had a facility of loan. So the employer has given me a loan, and that loan has to be shown separately in the asset side of the balance sheet of my employer, that the loans given to employee. It is a investing activity. It is not an operating activity. Advance given to employee. Advance given to employee is an operating activity.
Operating
Right?
activity.
Loan given to employee is an investing activity. Yes. Bonus share issued.
Non-cash.
Non-cash activity.
So guys, whenever you have to see, if you stick to the ground, I can tell you, you will fly high. The basic rule to fly high is to stick to the ground. Stay humble, right? And when I'm saying stay humble, I'm not telling you about your nature. I'm telling you that in this question, whenever you got a question on the cash flow statement, the first question which should come into your mind, that what is the cash flow in this transaction, in this question, what is the cash flow? अगर वो clear हो गया ना, then it is more like a presentation. Okay. Bonus share issued. In this transaction, is there any cash flow?
No, sir.
No, there is no cash.
No.
There is no cash. 4 to 5 months back, Reliance has issued one bonus share to every one share held in the company. Okay. I was holding 100 shares of Reliance. Okay. I was holding 100 shares of Reliance. I purchased those shares at 2,000 rupees. Okay. The company has issued a bonus share 1:1. So my 100 share become 200 shares. But there was no change in the value. Means I haven't paid anything. Reliance hasn't received anything. Right? Simple. My 100 quantity becomes 200. That's all. The share capital value has not been changed. The total share capital sitting in the books of Reliance was same. So the point is, the bonus share issued, few students have told that it is a non-cash item. It is a non-cash item, right? It is a non-cash item. There is no cash flow. Dividends paid.
Financing.
To whom you will pay dividend?
Shareholder.
Shareholder. It is on the share capital, right? It is on to the shareholder. Dividend received.
Investing activities.
Why investing activity? Dividend
Because
paid is a
Because we
financing
receive
item.
dividend.
Because we
Because
invested
Because we
this.
have received on
we have
shares.
share of we have invested
You
in
will
shares.
receive the dividend because you have an investment. You have invested in the shares, not your share, other company's shares. This is your investment and hence you are receiving a dividend. Right? I have invested in the Vedanta shares 2 years back and I got dividend 4 times. So that is the dividend income for me. I have received a dividend because of my investment. Correct? And for Vedanta, they have paid to the shareholder. So they have a dividend paid, I have a dividend received. Right? So Vedanta has paid dividend on their share capital. Right? So it is to the shareholder. So for Vedanta, it is a financing activity. For me, it is an investing activity. Right? So dividend receive is an investing activity. Dividend income is an investing activity. But dividend paid is a financing activity. Cash received from the trade receivables.
Operating activity.
Changes in
Customer.
working capital.
So you got the cash from the customer, right? Operating activity. Proceeds from sale of property, plant and equipment. Proceeds.
Investing activity.
Your business is not to sell property, plant and equipment. If your business was to sell property, plant and equipment, then your business is no more a business, right? So if your business is to sell property, plant and equipment, that property, plant and equipment will become your inventory. So your property, plant and equipment is to support your business, is to run your business. So proceeds from sale of property, plant and equipment will be your investing activity.
Investing activity.
So when you guys are answering, I'm also feeling that yes, this is a revisionary class. Otherwise, I would have, thought, oh no, this is probably the first class on statement of cash flow, right? But ICAI told me this is a revisionary class. Okay. But now I am also realizing, yes, this is a revisionary class. Depreciation of PP.
Non-cash.
Non-cash
Non-cash
activity.
item.
Operating item.
Non-cash.
Non-cash item.
Non-cash item.
Non-cash.
While non-cash item, but it will come under operating activity when you do the statement of cash flow through indirect method. So this depreciation will be adjusted in the profit before tax. Correct? Yes, but it is a non-cash item. This is a non-cash. Advance received from
Operating
customer.
activity.
Operating.
Operating activities.
Operating activity, yes. Operating activity. Purchased goodwill.
Investing activity.
Investing activity. Purchased goodwill, investing activity. Payment of promissory notes. Payment of
Cash and
promissory
cash
notes.
equivalent.
No,
It's
so cash and cash equivalent is always only a bank overdraft. These are the promissory notes. So what is the promissory notes? So basically what happened, you are in a need of a money. So you have issued some promissory notes.
Financing.
Right. So basically
Financing activities.
in the old days, it will called like a hundi. Okay. So let's say I have given you kind of a guarantee paper that please pay me, let's say 1 lakh rupee. If I will not be able to pay you, you can sell my house, for example. Okay. So I have given you promissory notes and now I am payment. So I have given you promissory notes on a stamp paper and I told you that I will pay you after 5 months. Okay. So this is a liability for me and I've taken money from you. So now I am paying you back payment of these promissory notes. Okay. So this is a financing activity. So only bank overdraft is part of cash and cash equivalent. Other than bank overdraft, like your working capital loans, other short-term loan, these will not be part of your cash and cash equivalent. Correct?
But sir, hello.
Yeah.
Sir, but as per Negotiable Instrument Act 1881, currency is just like promissory note, na?
So what's your name?
Devrat.
Sorry.
Devavrat.
Yeah, Devrat. So Devrat, don't go by the Negotiable Instrument Act. Okay. So that is an act. So those are the legal aspects of those instrument act. Here we are reading accounting standard, right? So stick to the accounting standard. Why I'm telling you, Because in CA final, you have law, you have tax, you have accounting standard, right? So when you read taxes, direct tax, you will find a different treatment of a particular item, right? Leases. In accounting standard, the leases, you have to capitalize right of use asset and lease liability, correct? For any operating lease. But when you read tax, so whenever you make a lease payment, it has to be reduced from your income, right? So in taxation, the accounting treatment, the treatment of the transaction is different in direct tax. The treatment of transaction is different in accounting books, okay? In accounting books, you have to go by the accounting standard. Ind AS says that only bank overdraft का मतलब क्या होता है? When your current account balances are overrunning, right? So you have a current account with bank, you took a bank overdraft facility, you have 10,000 rupees in your bank account, but you have issued a check of 15,000 rupees. Bank will pass that check, right? And your account is overdrawn by 5,000. Okay. So standard says that if the bank overdraft is used for the working capital management on a day-to-day basis, then that bank overdraft will also form part of cash and cash equivalent. So whatever accounting standards say, don't get into the parlance of income tax or law. Otherwise, you will make a mistake in the exam, right? So every standard or every legal things has a different aspect. So my request to all of you is to stick to the accounting standard. Okay, what accounting standard is saying. Otherwise, you will get confused. Okay. Yes, Abrakesh.
Sir, same promissory note. If it is given to me, then it will be, I mean, and it is a less than 90 months promise to refund the money. In that case, it is a financing. It's an investment activity.
If it is a asset to me, matlab, if the promise, suppose if I have given a loan, I have given loan a loan against promissory notes. Yes, yes. Hello. So loan taken is a loan taken. The liability is a financing activity.
No, sir. What I meant to say is, suppose we have given loan to Mr. A.
I got you. I got you.
That and he has given me promissory note.
That is an investing activity to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Friends, now let me discuss one more question, because few of the students were saying, sir, if it is a business of, let's say, financing institution, what happened? Yes. Question number 7. And then I'll come to to solve one practical question also. Question number 7, guys. I hope the question number 7 is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
What will be the classification for following item in the statement of cash flows of both banks or financial institution and other entities? Interest paid. For the normal entities, what is the nature of the interest paid?
Financing activity.
Financing
activity.
But for the bank and financial institution,
it's operating
should
activity.
Be the nature of the interest.
Operating activities.
The bread and butter of the business is to receive the money and to pay the interest and pay the money and get the interest, right? This is the bread and butter of the banks and financial institution. So for bank and financial institution, interest paid is like an operating activity. It is an operating activity. But for the normal entities, interest paid is a financing activity. Dividend paid. What is the nature of dividend paid for banks and financial institution?
Financing activity.
Financing activity.
For the other entities also financing activity?
Financing.
But why? Yes. But why for banks and financial institution, why it is not an operating activity?
Because they pay dividend on shares.
Yes. So it doesn't matter whether it is a normal entity or banks and financial institution. They will pay dividend to their shareholders. They will pay dividend because they have an equity share capital, right? So dividend paid has to be classified as a financing activity always. Doesn't matter bank or financial institution or other entity. Many students have made a mistake in dividend paid, right? So what they forgot the basic essence. Interest paid is on the money which you have taken as a liability, right? And this is part and parcel of the bank and financial institution. बैंक एंड फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन क्या करते हैं? आप लोगों से पैसा लेते हैं, आप लोगों से फिक्स डिपॉजिट लेते हैं. फॉर यू इट इज अ फिक्स डिपॉजिट, बट व्हाट इज द नेचर फॉर द बैंक?
Operating activity.
Obligation. It is their liability. It is their borrowing, right? For you it is an asset, but for them it is a liability. For you it is an income, for them it is an interest cost. Correct? So friends, dividend paid is a financing activity for bank and financial institution and other institution. Interest paid for banks and financial institution, it is a operating activity, but for the other institution it is a financing activity. Interest received,
Operating activity for banks.
Operating activities for
banks.
For other
For
entities,
others is investing
Investing.
activity.
investing activities.
dividend received.
Investing activity for others.
Investing activities.
What about banks and financial institution?
Operating activity.
What about banks and financial institution?
Operating.
Investing activities.
For them also it's investing activities because the
Dividend received.
Investing activities for all.
investing activities for both, sir.
Pakka.
Operating activity.
For banks and financial institution, it is an operating activity, right? So for them, these investments are the normal nature of the business. Correct, right? So for banks and financial institution, it is an operating activity. It is not an investing activity, right? Lending a money, receiving a money, right? Lending into the investment. So these all are considered as a operations for the banks and financial institution. Now let's quickly solve this question, okay? Interest received on loans and advances given.
Operating activities for bank and investing activities for other entities.
Operating activity for the bank and investing activity for other entities, right?
Right,
So
sir.
OA for the banks and investing activity for other entity. Very good. Interest paid on deposits and other borrowings.
Operating activity
Operating
for bank.
activities for bank and financing activities for other entities.
Very good. So let's see what is the answer. Yes, operating activity in the first case, operating activity for the bank and investing activity for other entities. In the second case, operating activity for the bank and the financing activity for the other entity. Okay. Third one, interest and dividend received on investment in subsidiaries, associates, and in other entities.
Investing activity in both.
For both.
Interest and dividend received.
Sir, it is in subsidiary, therefore it's an investment activity.
What about
Investing
others?
activities.
Yes. So
In both
interest
cases.
and dividend received from subsidiary, associate, and joint ventures, it will be classified as an investing activity for both of the entities, for banks and financial institution as well as other entities. Okay. But what happened if this interest and dividend would have been received from the other investments, not in the entities like subsidiary, associate, and joint venture?
Then interest would be.
Then it will be bank for.
Dividend would be financing for bank.
This will be for bank. It will be financing.
This is interest and dividend received. Financing कहाँ से हो गया?
No, investing.
Bank operating and other entities के लिए investing.
बैंक के लिए ऑपरेटिंग, अदर एंटिटी के लिए इन्वेस्टिंग, राइट? बट यहाँ पे इट इज सब्सिडरी, एसोसिएट एंड जॉइंट वेंचर का इन्वेस्टमेंट पे इंटरेस्ट रिसीव्ड है, डिविडेंड रिसीव्ड है. सो हियर इट इज अ इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटी फॉर बोथ बैंक एंड फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन एंड अदर एंटिटीज. क्वेश्चन नंबर 4, डिविडेंड पेड on preference and equity shares, including tax paid on the dividend paid.
Financing.
Financing activity for both the entities, right?
Yeah.
Finance charges paid by lessee under a finance lease.
Financing activity.
Finance charges paid by a lessee under a finance lease. So lessee has entered into a finance lease arrangement, and finance lease is more like a what? It's a debt, it's a loan, right? It's more like an interest on loan. So it will be financing activity for both the entity, or it would be different.
For both entities.
It would be
For
different.
both the entity. It means even bank has also entered into a lease agreement with the landlord to open a branch. Okay, so this was a finance lease agreement. Okay, so in this case, this lease liability has to be classified as a financing activity. So this interest paid on the lease is also considered under financing activity for both the entity. Payment towards reduction of outstanding finance lease liability.
Financial activities.
Financing activity for banks also, for other entities also. Interest paid to vendor for acquiring fixed asset under deferred payment basis.
Investing activities.
Investment activity.
To vendor.
Investing activities.
Investment activities.
You want to purchase a flat. Okay. You don't have money. You took a loan for purchasing a flat. Okay. So you have to pay interest on that loan. Here, this company has acquired a fixed asset. The company has purchased a fixed asset. Okay. And the company has paid interest to the vendor. Why? Because the company has not made a payment on time. Means the company has taken a loan from the vendor. Okay. And the company has purchased the fixed asset. Or I can say that on one hand, there is a fixed asset. On the other hand, there is a vendor obligation. And the company has paid, interest on the vendor obligation. It means the company got its asset funded from the money taken on loan from others.
Then it is financing.
This is interest paid. Just think about this is interest paid. Interest paid is a financing activity. Financing activity for both the entity, because here it is not a bread and butter of the bank, right? It is not a normal interest paid. It is interest paid in the delayed payment for acquiring a fixed asset. Right? Any doubt so far? Any doubt?
Yes, sir. Fifth one is not very much clear to me. Please explain it once more.
Have you gone through with Ind AS 116 right of use asset lease liability?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So under
Yes.
Ind AS 116, whenever lessee enters into a lease arrangement, there is a right of use asset and there is a lease liability. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this lease
Yes.
liability is nothing. It's like a debt. Lease liability is like a debt. Standard
Okay, got it.
116 says that whenever you pay lease liability, either principal or interest, okay, what you need to do whenever you pay lease liability, the principal payment of lease liability and interest payment of lease liability both has to be classified as a financing activity. Okay.
Got it, sir. Thank
Right.
you.
So in this
Yes.
case, the interest finance charges means interest, right, which is paid on the finance lease. Even if it would have been the operating lease, treatment would be same. क्योंकि Ind AS 116 में there is no classification of operating lease, finance lease from the lessee perspective. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Got it. Thank you.
Question number 8. Principal. See, interest we discussed, right? Interest payment to the vendor for late payment to acquire fixed asset. Principal payment under deferred payment basis for acquisition of fixed asset.
Investing
In
activities.
point number 7, we talked about interest payment. In point number 8, we are talking about the principal payment for acquiring fixed asset.
Investing
Investing.
activity.
Investing activity for both.
Yes, acquisition of fixed asset is an investing activity, right? So even when you read Ind AS 16 and Ind AS 38, it also says that on the deferred payment terms, you have to capitalize your PP on the cash price equivalent. Okay. And whatever extra payment you are paying for the delay in the payment, that part is an interest cost. Okay. So interest paid is the financing activity. Principal paid is what? Investing activity.
Investing.
Question number 9. Penal interest received from customer for late payments.
Operating activities.
Penal interest.
It's operating activities.
Operating activity, right? So customer has made a late payment of the installment. If you forgot to pay your credit card bill on time, HDFC credit card, तो क्या होगा?
Penalty आएगा.
अगर आप भूल गए तो क्या होगा? You have to pay interest on that late payment fee, interest fee. You have to pay to the bank. Correct. So likewise, these penal interest which is received from the customer for late payments of credit card. So this will be operating activity. This will be a operating activity, right? So penal interest received from the customer is a operating activity. Yes, Abrakesh.
Sir, there are 2 or 3 students who have, not muted themselves.
Who
So
got?
noise is coming.
So can you please mute everyone? Can you please mute yourself? Yeah. Yes. And I would request to, if it is a kind of a, objective type answer, operating activity, financing activity, you can just write down on the chat box OA, FA, IA, right? So you don't need to write the full answer. You can just write OA for bank and let's say IA for other. You can write this way also, okay? So that there will be a less disturbance in the class. Yes. Question number 10. Penal interest paid to supplier for late payment. First, we talk
Operating
about the
activity.
penal interest received from the customer, right? Whatever money you are receiving from the customer, it will be operating activity for both the entities. But when you are paying an interest, penal interest to the supplier for late payment, what is the nature of that?
Operating activity for both.
Yes, it is all. It will also be operating activity, right? So this is not a defined interest. This is a penal interest. Okay. So it is different from the deferred payment terms. When you have taken any asset on a deferred payment terms, that will not be a penal interest. That will be an interest. Okay. But whatever penal interest is there, it is the operating activity. Interest paid on the delayed tax payments. You have forgot to deposit your advance tax. Now you are paying an interest. Interest paid on the delayed tax payments.
Operating activity.
Operating activity, right? So operating activity. Interest received on tax refunds.
Operating activity.
It is also an operating activity. Okay. Yes. So friends, we have covered, this question number 7 also. It's 8:30 now. Let's have a 8 minutes break. Okay. And then we will solve one comprehensive question on cash flow statement, which is question number 2 we will solve. Okay. Yes. Let's have a break for 8 minutes. It's 8:33 now. We'll start at 8:40. solve one complete question on cash flow statement. And it is question number 2. In question number 2, the balance sheet is given. Following is the balance sheet of Kuber Limited for the year ended 31st March 20x2. Right? And please note important key points. Okay. So this is the balance sheet of Kuber Limited, which is given, and the amount is in lakhs. Property, plant and equipment. It was 12,500 in the beginning. In the closing, it is 13,000. Right. So what is the treatment of this property, plant and equipment? What we need to look at for this PP&E? Intangible assets. So what you need to look at for this PP&E or intangible assets? What you should do? So you have to check this PP&E intangible asset will come under investing activity, right? So we have to prepare some, working notes, right? So we have to identify what is the actual amount of fixed asset which is purchased, right? Because the balance of fixed asset is increasing, the balance of intangible asset is increasing. So we have to find out what is the cash paid to purchase the property, plant and equipment and intangible assets. You need to identify that. Okay. PP&E and intangible asset. What is the amount which have been paid? So it means we need to look at depreciation. We need to look at, what is my opening balance, closing balance, and this will give you the actual money paid for the fixed asset. Okay. Other financial assets. Then there is something in the non-current asset. Other financial assets are also given, which is 170 to 145, become 145. There is a deferred tax asset which is also given. Other non-current assets are also there, right? So these are the asset balances, non-current asset balances. Then there is a current assets. Okay. In the current asset, there is a investments, which is 2,500 to 2,300. The cash and cash equivalent is 460 to 220, right? The other current asset is 85 to 195. Okay. So cash and cash equivalent, this cash and cash equivalent, whether it will come under any operating, investing or financing activity? No, this will be a separate line item at the end. Okay. So other current assets are also given. Then there is a liability which is given. Equity share capital, there is no change in the equity share capital. Other equity, which is reserves and surplus, this has been increased from 8,000 to 12,000. Okay. So this is the total equity. Then there is a long-term borrowing. This long-term borrowing was 5,000 in the beginning. But now it becomes how much? 2,000. It means there was a repayment. Okay. There was a repayment. Other non-current liability has been also reduced from 3615 to 2740. Now there is some current liability which is given, like trade payable, bank overdraft, other current liabilities. Bank overdraft. What is the treatment of this bank overdraft, which is there in the liability? What is the treatment in the cash flow statement for this bank overdraft? It will form part of your cash and cash equivalent. Students, can you please respond either on the chat box or through by unmuting yourself? Cash and cash equivalent. Yes, Sweta, you're right. Okay, so this is the balance sheet which is given. I'll again come to the balance sheet. Now additional information is given. Profit after tax for the year ended 31st March 2002 is 4450 lakhs. Okay, so profit after tax is given. Interim dividend paid during the year is given. So what is the treatment of interim dividend paid? Financing activity. Depreciation and amortization charged in the statement of profit and loss during the current year are as under. Property, plant and equipment 500 lakhs. Intangible asset 20 lakhs. You remember in the balance sheet that PP and intangible asset were there in the balance sheet? Yes, it was there. Right now, the depreciation and amortization is also given. Okay. So from the opening balance, if we reduce the depreciation and amortization, and when we compare with the closing balance, it will give me the net purchase of the fixed asset. It will give me the net purchase of the fixed asset, correct? Yes. Yeah. So then, in point number 4, it is also written that during the year ended March 31st, 20x2, 2 machineries were sold for rupees 70 lakhs. The carrying amount of these machineries as on 31st March 20x2 is 60 lakhs. So in the PPE, 2 machineries were also sold, right? And the carrying value of the machinery was 60 lakh, but the machinery was sold at 70 lakhs. Okay. So it means this will also require an adjustment in the PPE schedule. Income taxes paid during the year is 105 lakhs, right? And profit after tax is 4450 lakh. So how can I arrive at profit before tax? To begin with, how can I arrive at profit before tax? I will add 105 lakhs into the 4450 lakhs. This is how I will arrive at profit before tax. Okay. Other non-current or current assets and liabilities are related to operations of Kuber Limited and do not contain any element of financing and investing activity. So it is written that other non-current, current asset and liabilities are completely operation related, right? Wherever you found the other non-current asset, other financial asset, other current asset, right? It says that it is 100% relating to operation. It is not related to the financing and investing activity. Very good. Using the above information of Kuber Limited, construct a statement of cash flows under indirect method. Okay. Should I start preparing the cash flow statement? Should I use the Excel file? What do you suggest?
Yes, sir.
Do you have this question handy? Because when I'll use the Excel file, so this question, you will not be able to see the question because I will solve in front of you, right? So do you have this question handy? क्या आप लोगों के पास ये क्वेश्चन है? ये स्टडी मटेरियल का ही क्वेश्चन है. डू यू हैव दिस क्वेश्चन विथ यू? ICAI ने भी, बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज ने भी अपलोड किया ये क्वेश्चन. या ओके.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me open my Excel file and let me help you with this question. Okay, and this is question number 2 of today's class. I mean to say the Word file which is shared with all of you, the revisionary question. Statement of cash flows. It is not cash flow statement, it's statement of cash flows for the year ended March 31st, 20x2. Okay. Particulars amount. Particulars amount. First of all, I'll start with what? I'll start with the first section. What is my first section? My first section is
PPT.
My first section is cash flow from. So let me use these 2 lines. Cash flow from or used in operating activity, right? Cash flow from operating activity. Profit before tax. What is the profit before tax? What is profit before tax? What is my profit before tax? It is 4450 lakhs. 4450 is my profit before tax. Amount in. Can you please help me in solving this question?
Yes, sir.
So whether it is profit before tax or profit after tax?
Profit after tax.
I have to arrive at profit before tax. So my profit after tax is given and my profit after tax is given at 4450.
4450.
Okay. Add.
Tax.
The tax expense is given. right? What is my tax expense?
10.
Add
105.
What is my tax paid? 105. So what is my profit after profit before tax? 4555. 4555. Okay. So this is my profit before tax. So I got my starting point. Is that clear? Is that
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Now
Yes,
what
sir.
I'll do? Now what I'll do? Adjust non-cash item. Adjustment of non-cash item. Okay. So for non-cash item, you have to look at the other information which is given. The other information which is given. And what is the other information which is given? Profit after tax is given. Interim dividend is given. Where this interim dividend will go?
No.
In the other
Financing activity.
information. In the other information, this
Financing activity.
interim activity, this interim dividend is given, which is my financing activity. So let me write here. Financing activity. Interim dividend paid. Interim dividend paid. What is the amount of interim dividend paid? It is
450 lakhs.
450.
450 lakhs. It is 450 lakhs, right? It is a payment. It is a payment. So should I write this negative? It is paid,
Yes.
right? It is
Yes.
paid. Okay. So profit after tax is given, interim dividend is given in the other information, additional information. The third line item, which is depreciation, is also given. Depreciation and amortization.
Non-cash.
It's a non-cash item. Okay, depreciation and amortization. Let me add back here. Depreciation and amortization. What is my depreciation and amortization?
520.
500 is on the PP and 20 is on intangible asset, right?
Yes.
500 plus
520.
20. So depreciation and amortization is 500 plus 20.
20.
520. What is the sign? Whether it should be positive or negative?
Positive.
It should be
It
positive.
has to be added. It has to be added. Add. Correct? It has to be added. Positive. It will increase your cash profit. Then the next line item which is given, during the year ended 31st March 20x2, two machineries were sold for 70 lakhs. The carrying amount of these machineries as on 31st March 20x2 is 60 lakhs. So there is a gain on the sale of property, plant and equipment. Gain on sale.
Less.
Yes.
So this 10 lakh rupee is the cash gain. But this 10 lakh rupee gain is there in the statement of profit and loss. It is coming in the profit before tax. So whether this 10 lakh rupee of gain on the sale of PP, is it an operating item?
No.
No, sir.
No.
Investing.
It will be less.
It is an investing item. It is an investing item. Okay. So I have to make some other adjustment of non-operating item. Can I write this as a non-operating item?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So adjustment of non-operating item. And what is that? Gain on sale of
Of
PPE.
PPE.
Right? What is the amount?
10.
10.
10.
What is the sign of this? Positive or negative?
Negative.
Yes.
Negative,
Negative.
because this is already included in the profit. I have to remove it from the profit.
Later.
Okay. So it is written that, the carrying value of the two machinery was 60 lakh and it is sold at 70 lakh. Means the total cash I have received is 70 lakh. Is there any adjustment of 70 lakh also?
Yes.
Yes.
What is the adjustment of 70 lakh?
Add
Investing
into
activities.
investing activity.
Investing activity. And what will be reflected in investing activity?
70 lakhs.
So,
What is the
positive.
nature? Proceed.
Positive.
Proceeds
Proceed.
from sale of PPE. It is
PPE.
a cash amount. Okay. 70 lakh. Positive, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we have covered additional information. Point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, point number 4. Income taxes paid. Point number 5 I have also covered, right, as of now. And then other non-current asset, current liabilities are operating item. All the items are the operating item. Okay. So now let's go to the balance sheet. And from the balance sheet, we will pick it up again. Okay. Now let's go to the balance sheet now. Okay. So let's move to the balance sheet. So friends, okay, you have the question handy, na? So let me read from my notes. So in the balance sheet, if I look at the balance sheet, property, plant, and equipment is there in the balance sheet. Okay, property, plant, and equipment. Should I make a schedule of property, plant, and equipment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So PP&E, working notes, working notes. Can you please mute yourself? PP&E. Anyone who is unmuted, please mute yourself. PP&E. What is the opening balance? Opening balance is given as
18,000.
12,500. Opening balance is 12,500. So 12,500 is the opening balance, less depreciation.
Depreciation. 500.
Depreciation was 500
500.
lakhs. Depreciation was 500
Yes.
lakhs. Okay. The closing balance is also given. Let me write the closing balance here, which is 13,000.
13,000.
Closing balance.
Yes.
Okay. So then there is some, purchase or sale is given. Some purchases or sales is given. So what is given here? It is given. So out of the opening balance of 12,500, there is a depreciation which was charged, and there was some asset which was sold also. So what is the value of the asset sold? So it is written that the two machineries whose carrying value was 60 lakh was sold at 70 lakhs.
60.
So carrying value, of course, right? Carrying value of machinery sold. It has to be 60, right? So with this, the carrying value has to go on down. Correct. But so in 12,500, you have charged a depreciation, you have sold out the machinery also, but the closing balance is 13,000. What does it mean? What does it mean? It should have been, the closing balance should have been how much? 11,940, but it is 13,000. What does it mean? It means there is a purchase of fixed asset of 1,060. Yes or no?
Yes.
So purchase of fixed asset, purchase of PPE is how much? 1060. 1060. It is my balancing figure. It is my balancing figure. Any doubt here? Simple, मैंने एक अकाउंट बना दिया पीपीई का, ओपनिंग बैलेंस से क्लोजिंग बैलेंस तक की एक वॉक मैंने बना दी. कोई डाउट यहाँ पे? Any doubt here?
No, sir.
So we have taken the adjustment of this depreciation. We have taken the adjustment to operating activity, non-cash item. Carrying value, no adjustment required. So adjustment we have taken in terms of my sale. So proceeds from the sale of PP I have already taken. So do I need to do anything for this item? Do I need to do anything for this item? Purchase of PP? Purchase of PP, yes. Purchase of PP will go to the investing activity. Like proceeds from sale of PP, purchase of PPE. Right? How much is my purchase of PP? 1060. 1060. Whether it has to be positive sign or negative sign. Whether cash will inflow
Negative sign.
Negative.
Negative.
Inflow. The sign is very important in cash flow statement. Please remember, sign is very important. Right. So let's go to the next balance sheet part. Intangible asset. So intangible asset was 30. Now it becomes 50. There is a amortization also of 20. Intangible asset. What happened with the intangible asset? Working
Schedule.
note 2. intangible asset. What is my opening balance of intangible asset? 30 lakhs. What is my closing balance of intangible asset?
50.
50. What is the amortization which I have charged?
20 lakhs.
20 lakhs. Less amortization. So this amortization would have reduced my opening balance. So my closing balance would have been 10 lakh, but it is 50 lakh. What does it mean?
Purchase of 40 lakhs.
Purchase of
Purchase.
40
Purchase
lakhs.
of intangible asset. Purchase of intangible asset. What is the balance?
40 lakhs.
40 lakhs. 40 lakhs. So it will give you 50 lakhs. Okay. This is my balance. Where it will go? Purchase of intangible asset?
Investing
Investing
activity.
activity.
Investing activity.
Negative.
Purchase of intangible asset. The amortization I have already taken into the non-cash item in operating. I have already
Yes.
taken. Yes. Intangible asset. Okay. Now let's go to the third line item. What is my third line item? Other financial assets, right? So question says that it is all for operations. It is all for operations. So now what I'll do now,
Less.
I have to adjust
Add.
my operating changes, right? I have to adjust my change in operating assets and liability, right?
Yes.
Changes in operating assets and liabilities. Changes in operating assets and liabilities. Changes in operating assets and liabilities. Okay. What is my changes in operating assets and liabilities? So the third item is my other financial assets. So whether other financial assets has increased or decreased?
Decreased.
Decrease in other financial asset. So when your asset will decrease, what does it mean?
We will receive money.
Means you got the money. आपका एसेट कम हो गया मतलब एसेट बिक गया या एसेट से रिकवरी आ गई. ओके, यू हैव रिकवर्ड. सो व्हाट इज द अमाउंट? वन क्लोजिंग बैलेंस इज 145 and your opening, so basically your opening balance was 170, your closing balance is 145. Opening minus closing. This is positive.
25.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that okay? Okay. So positive. Then your fourth line item, deferred tax assets. Friends, your deferred tax asset, it is a non-cash item, deferred tax asset, right? You understand deferred tax asset? Okay. It's a non-cash item. You are just creating your DTA, DTL. It's a non-cash item and your deferred tax asset has moved from 750 to 855. So DTA has moved from 750 to 855.
Less.
So what should I do? Increase in DTA, it's a non-cash item and I have to adjust above, right? DTA. What is my DTA? DTA charge during the year. Deferred tax asset, there is an increase in DTA, right? So what was my opening balance? My opening balance was, what was my opening balance? It was 750 and closing balance is 855. So there is a 105 rupees increase of DTA. Means अगर DTA में 105 का increase है तो क्या करें? What should I do?
We would reduce it.
855 minus how much? 750. So 105. So 105 should be deducted. Why it should be deducted? So you have recognized DTA. When you recognize DTA, your profit will be increased. Your profit will increase. Correct? आप जब एसेट रिकॉग्नाइज करोगे एंट्री क्या पास करोगे? डेफर्ड टैक्स इनकम क्रेडिट, डेफर्ड टैक्स एसेट डेबिट. Right?
Yes, sir.
So this has already been taken care of. Deferred tax asset. So now what is the next line item? Other non-current asset. And other non-current asset has increased from 770 to 800. So it means there is a increase in other non-current asset. In the question, it is written that it is all operating. So it has been increased by, what was my opening balance? My opening balance was 770. What is my closing balance?
800.
800.
So this 30 is okay. So
Yes.
Yes.
when your other current assets are increasing, इसका मतलब you are getting less recovery. Correct? तभी तो बढ़ रहे हैं ना.
हाँ.
और सिंपल अगर आपको एक चीज समझ में आ गई कि डिक्रीज इन एसेट विल इंक्रीज योर कैश फ्लो, तो रिवर्सल कर लो. इंक्रीज इन एसेट विल रिड्यूस योर कैश. सिंपल. क्लियर है ना? आपको सब कुछ याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. यू आर नॉट रिक्वायर्ड टू रिमेंबर एवरीथिंग. You just go by the logic, and at least if you remember one thing, for example, decrease in asset will increase your cash flow. Then what happened with the increase in asset? Cash flow.
Decrease the cash flow.
Decrease the cash flow. If increase in asset is decreasing your cash flow, what about increase in liability? उल्टा. अगर एसेट के इंक्रीज होने से कैश फ्लो इंक्रीज होता है, अगर एसेट के इंक्रीज होने से कैश फ्लो डिक्रीज होता है, तो लाइबिलिटी के इंक्रीज होने से क्या होगा? कैश फ्लो इंक्रीज होगा. उल्टा, रिवर्स साइन. सो इफ यू नो वन एस्पेक्ट, you will be able to easily grab second, third, fourth. Okay, fine. Is that clear? Yeah. Okay, now let's go to the next line item. What is the next line item? Investments. Investments are given, and investment have been reduced from 2500 to 2300, and there is no any other adjustment is given for investments. So what should I do for this investment? Your investment have been reduced. It means proceeds from sale of investment. There must be sale of investment, correct? Sale or maturity of investment. What was the number of investment?
2500.
It was 2500. In the closing, it is 2300. 2300 is there. So what is my proceed from sale of investment? 2500 minus 2300. This is positive or negative?
Positive.
Proceed से पैसा आया या गया? Sales से आया. It has come in. So positive. Okay, now what is my next line item in the balance sheet? Cash and cash equivalent. The opening and closing cash and cash equivalent is given. So shall I write somewhere opening and closing cash and cash equivalent? So let me write here. Okay, opening cash and cash equivalent. What is my opening cash and cash equivalent? What is my opening cash and cash equivalent? Devrat?
460.
Opening is 460. Closing is 220. 460 is the opening. Closing cash and cash equivalent is 220, right? Closing cash and cash equivalent. I've just written here, okay? I have not done anything. I've just written here. Closing cash and cash equivalent. I'm just taking my all the balance sheet items. Okay. Right. So now what is the next line item in the balance sheet? Other current assets. Other current assets have also been increased. 85 to 195. So what is the treatment of other current assets? Increase in other current assets. What is the treatment?
Negative 110.
195 minus 85, na?
85.
Minus 85. So I shall write like this. 85 was the opening, 195 is the closing. 110. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Now, what is my next line item? Now comes to equity. Is there any change in equity?
No, sir.
No.
No. It means there is no buyback, there is no new issue, nothing. Would you like to do for anything which is an equity, other equity, reserves and surplus? No adjustment is required, right? Because reserves and surplus is the culmination of your profits and everything, right? We are not touching this reserves and surplus, okay? Then your liabilities is given. Your long-term borrowings are given. Long-term borrowings, right? So non-current
Finance.
liability, financial liability, long-term borrowings. Long-term borrowings has been reduced from 5,000 to 2,000. There is a decrease
Payment.
in long-term borrowings.
Negative.
So long-term borrowings.
Payment of long-term borrowings.
Yes. Repayment of long-term borrowings. Repayment. And how much is the repayment of the long-term borrowings?
3,000
3,000?
negative.
3,000 negative. So basically, the opening balance was how much? 5,000. The closing balance is 2,000. So 2,000 minus 5,000. Can I write like this? 3,000. Is that okay? Payment है ना? Liability 5,000 से 2,000 रह गई, मतलब 3,000 की पेमेंट हो गई. 3,000 has been paid. Is that clear? Is that clear, friends?
Yes, sir.
Okay, repayment of long-term borrowings. Now, what is the next item? The next item is other non-current liability. Opening balance was 3,615. Closing balance is 4,740. Closing balance is 4,740. Okay. So other non-current liability is decreased. Decrease in other non-current liability. Decrease in other non-current liability. Right? So what is the adjustment of decrease in non-current liability? आपकी liability कम हो गई है, इसका क्या मतलब है? इसका मतलब cash decrease in liability. What does it mean?
Cash.
That has gone out ना. अभी हमने borrowing का किया है ना, decrease in borrowing.
Cash payment.
Decrease in liability, cash has been paid. And what is the amount? The opening liability was 3,615. The closing liability is 2,740. So I'll write closing first. 2,740 minus 3,615. Okay. 36. Yes. So this 875 is my decrease in other current liability. Is that okay? 875.
Yes,
Then
sir.
the next line item is trade payable. Then the trade payable is there. So trade payable liability has been increased from 90 to 150. So what to do with this trade payable?
Operating positive 60.
Trade payable, increase in trade payable. So increase in liability. So this has moved by what? 150. This has moved to 150 from 90. 60. Correct? Now after trade payable, there is an item called bank overdraft. So what is the treatment of this bank overdraft? What should I do with this bank overdraft?
Cash and cash equivalent.
Cash and cash equivalent. You remember I have just written cash and cash equivalent. Opening cash and cash equivalent. Net of what? Bank OD. So what was my opening balance of cash and cash equivalent? 460. What is my bank overdraft? What is my value of the bank overdraft?
60 and 75.
60. In the opening it was 60. So shall I reduce 60 from the opening cash and cash equivalent?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Closing cash and cash equivalent. Net of bank overdraft. What is my closing balance? My closing balance is 75. Shall I reduce 75 from the closing balance?
Yes, sir.
75. Okay. So this is my bank overdraft treatment in the cash flow statement. Now let's go to the next line item, which is other current liability. Other current liability have been increased from 200 to 300. Increase in other current liability. Increase in other current liability. So it has been moved up to 300 from 200. So that is okay.
Yes,
This
sir.
increase in liability is positive cash flow.
Yes, sir.
So other current liability we have taken, then nothing is left in the balance sheet. Additional information, I have covered all the information. Now, how will I prove that my cash flow statement is correct? How will I prove that it is correct? कैसे prove होगा कि ये ठीक है?
Match with the balance sheet date.
So my total change in cash and cash equivalent, my total change, the total of operating, investing and financing, this has to match with the difference between the opening cash and cash equivalent and the closing cash and cash. Correct? Right? So this
Yes,
is
sir.
my net cash changes from operating activity. From operating activity. Right? This is my net cash changes in the from the operating activity. Right? So this is my cash generated from operating activity or net cash changes from the operating activity. So how much is this? 4130. This is 4130. Is that right? 4130. We have forgot one treatment. So this is what? I forgot one treatment. Which treatment I forgot?
Income tax.
Income tax. That is also, this is my cash flow from operations, and my income tax paid is also an ordinary item, right? So this is my cash flow from operations. This is my cash flow from operations. Now, how much is my income taxes paid? You remember, for arriving at profit before tax, I have added back my tax paid, but it has been paid. It has decreased my cash flow. So what is my net cash changes from operating activity?
4025.
4025, right? This is my A. This is A. Okay. Now, cash flow from oblique used in investing activity. What is my net cash changes from investing activity? Net cash changes from investing activity.
Negative 830.
Okay, so let me correct that. Investing activity. Let me correct the formula. Yes. Negative 830 is my net cash from operating investing activity. What is my net cash flow from financing activity?
Negative 3450.
Negative cash changes from financing activity, negative 3450, right? So friends, if I'll add these all changes in cash flow from operating, investing and financing activity, what it will give me? Net cash changes during the year from all activities. From all activities. Means A plus B plus, sorry, A plus B plus
C.
this plus this plus this. 255 is my negative, right? And how will I ensure that my workings are accurate, my workings are correct? So my opening balance, my opening cash and cash equivalent was 400. Okay. So my opening cash and cash equivalent was 400 and I have paid net, I have spent 255 rupees of cash during the year. What should be my closing balance? What should be my closing balance? 400 minus 255. आपकी गुल्लक में 400 रुपए थे ओपनिंग बैलेंस, आपने 255 एक्सपेंस कर दिया अपनी पॉकेट से, तो कितना बचा आपकी पॉकेट में?
145.
145 should be 145 should be cash flow. So your net cash changes plus opening cash and cash equivalent, right? This has to be your closing cash and cash equivalent. This has to be your closing cash and cash equivalent. What is my closing cash and cash equivalent in the balance sheet? What is given in the balance sheet?
460.
नहीं, closing is
220.
220, and what was bank overdraft?
220 minus 75.
Oh, H per balance sheet. Cash and cash equivalent. H per balance sheet, cash and cash equivalent, and bank overdraft. What was cash and cash equivalent? 220. What was bank overdraft?
75.
75. $145. Is it telling? Is it
Yes,
telling?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So friends, have you got the comfort how to prepare the cash flow statement? Have you got the comfort?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yes or no? Is that
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Yes. So now I'll discuss one question from the direct method. Okay. So this was from the indirect method. So I'll cover one question from the indirect method. Direct method.
Sir,
Yes.
I have one doubt. What if जैसे हम इंटर में एक एडजस्टमेंट आता था, प्रोविजन फॉर डिप्रेशन ओपनिंग एंड प्रोविजन फॉर डिप्रेशन क्लोजिंग, अगर इस क्वेश्चन में होता तो क्या करते?
क्या करते अगर सॉरी
अगर इस क्वेश्चन में एडजस्टमेंट आता, प्रोविजन फॉर डिप्रिसिएशन ओपनिंग एंड प्रोविजन फॉर डिप्रिसिएशन क्लोजिंग.
Okay. So just go step by step. Okay. Go step by step. So how your PP is arrive in the balance sheet? PP balance sheet में कैसे आता है? Gross block, accumulated depreciation. What is accumulated depreciation? It is provision for depreciation, right?
Yeah.
And then your net block. Okay. For example, opening balance, closing balance, right? एक एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं. This is just an example. What is my gross block? Let's say 100 rupee was my opening gross block. Accumulated depreciation was my 40. So what is my closing? What was my net block? मेरा net block क्या होगा? 60 होगा. So next year. So let's say this is 20x1. And this is 20x2. 20x2. What is your gross block in 20x2? Same. Gross block to gross block ही होगा ना? Yes. Now you have charged more depreciation in the year. So now this accumulated depreciation becomes 70. What is your closing net block in the balance sheet?
30.
30. 30. In the question, the net block was given. The opening balance and closing balance was given in the question. Net block was given, right? So it means during the, what was the charge during the year? What was the P&L charge? P&L charge during the year क्या है 2002 में?
40.
What is my P&L charge? 30 is my P&L charge. Okay. So what will be the non-cash item which has to be added back to the operating activity?
30 rupees.
30 rupees simple. यहाँ पर बता दिया कि इतना चार्ज है, नहीं तो आप निकाल लेते. You have the opening provision for depreciation, you have the closing provision for depreciation. Correct? और तो कोई ट्रीटमेंट नहीं होगा. अब ये 60-30 जो है आपका, so what you did, like in this question, like we have reduced the depreciation charge, okay? We reduced what is the sold amount, we compare with the closing balance and we got the purchases. So if in the question opening and closing balance of provision of for depreciation is given, you are not required to do anything. You just need to compare the balances of provision for depreciation. The differential will go to
P&L.
where? Sorry?
P&L.
P&L. Differential will go to P&L, right? Yes. Is that right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. So friends, I hope you have got a comfort by looking at this cash flow statement. And of course, it is a revisionary class. And hence, I assume that at least basic concepts you are well aware of, right? And I have covered the concept of operating, investing, financing. That is why we have done the question number 7 and question number 8 before question number 2. Correct? So that you should be well versed with the concept of all these activity, concept of cash and cash equivalent, concept of bank overdraft, direct method, indirect method. So now I will take this question number 6 from this word file because that is more relevant from the revision perspective. Yes. Can I take you to the question number 6 in the word file? Direct method is comparatively easy because there is no change in investing and financing activity. Friends, even in direct method or indirect method, the investing and financing activity is exactly same, right? So direct method का मतलब होता है direct cash balances को directly डालना. Okay. So investing and financing activity में you are capturing the net cash paid, net cash received. Correct? Yes. Question number 6. During the financial year 1920, Akola Limited have paid various taxes and reproduced the below mentioned records for your perusal. Capital gain tax of rupees 20 crores on sale of office premises at a sale consideration of 100 crores. Right? So in the first line item, what is written? Capital gain tax of 20 crore on the sale of office premises at a sale consideration of 100 crore. So what is this nature of 100 crore? This is a sale of PPE. So what is the nature of this activity?
Investing activity.
Investing activities.
Investing activity. So there is a capital gain tax on investing activity. I'll come to that. Okay. Income tax of 3 crore on business profit. So there is a income tax, capital gain tax on the sale of investment property. There is a income tax on the business profit also, which is 30 crore, right? Assuming entire business profit as cash profit. So this question is not asking you to compute cash flow from operating activity. This question is saying, assuming entire profit is cash profit, and this 30 crore is a cash profit, and 3 crore is a tax on the business income from business and profession. Dividend distribution tax is on the payment of dividend. There is a 2 crore of DDT, dividend tax, which is on the payment of 20 crore of dividend. What is the nature of this activity?
Financing activity.
So dividend paid is financing activity. What is the nature of the cash profit? This profit, business profit, operating activity.
It is good operating.
This sale of PP, sale of office, investing activity, right? So sale of office, investing activity, business profit, operating activity, dividend paid, financing activity. There is an income tax refund also, 1.5 CR, and this refund is on taxes paid in the earlier year on the business profit. Right? So friends, this is again your operating activity, correct? Do you have any doubt on these 4 activities, whether it is operating, investing, or financing?
No, sir.
No, very good. Now the question is asking, you need to determine the net cash flow from operating activity, investing activity, and financing activity of Akola Limited as per relevant Ind AS. Friends, do you know what is the concept this question wants to test? And here, students are making mistakes. You know what is the concept this question want to test?
If taxes belongs to PGBP, then we can add this to operating activity. If taxes is belong to investing activity, then it goes to investing, like here PGBP.
Yes, you are right. So this question wants to test your knowledge. Are you have a adequate knowledge? Because you know what happened. Generally, if you are not aware that income tax belongs to which activity, whether it is operating, investing, or financing, there is a rebuttable presumption. What is a rebuttable presumption? It has to be operating activity, correct? It has to be a operating activity. But if in the question it is given that income tax belongs to which activities, right? For example, in this question, it is very much clear that the capital gain tax 20 crore income tax is on investing activity. Clear hai na?
Yep.
3 crore tax is on operating activity. 2 crore tax is on financing activity. 1.5 crore refund is on operating activity. So in that case, you have to reflect your income tax along with the relevant activities. Correct? So you have to reflect, you have to present, you have to adjust your income tax outflows, income tax cash flows with while determining the cash flow from the relevant activities. Okay. So in this case, what is my cash flow? So sale consideration, my sale consideration of PPNE, sale consideration of PPNE. Sale consideration of PPNE is investing activity. Capital gain tax is also investing activity. Business profit 30 crore is operating activity. Tax on business profit is operating activity. Dividend paid is financing activity. DDT is financing activity. Income tax refund is operating activity. And how will you classify? Your operating activity is 28.5. 30 minus 3 plus 1.5 refund. Investing activity is 80, which is 100 minus 20. Financing activity is how much?
80.
Financing activity is how much? 20
22.
crore dividend payment, 2 crore is your DDT. Financing activity is how much? 20 minus 2 or minus 20 minus 2? There are
Both
two
will be negative.
outflows. You are paying dividend, just you need to think about. So there are two outflow. Okay. So basically what happened? In the first case, sale consideration, you have paid 100. So 100 is your inflow. You have paid 20. 20 is your capital gain tax. So what is your net cash flow from investing activity? What is your net cash flow from investing activity? 80. 80 clear है ना सबको? Whether 80 is clear to everyone, investing activity का net cash flow?
Clear, sir. Clear, sir.
Clear. What is your net cash flow from operating activity? 30 crore you have received as a profit. 3 crore you have paid as an income tax. What is net? 27. 1.5 crore you have also received as an income tax refund. So 27 plus 1.5, 28.5. So 28.5 is net cash flow from operating activity. What is financing activity? You have paid a dividend of 20 crore. You have paid a dividend of 2 crore. So what is my total? What is my net cash flow from financing activity?
20.
22 crore, not 18 crore. So this is here where students are also making a mistake. When you think logically, right, what is my cash flow? You will always be right. You will always be right, right? Before getting into operating, investing, financing, सब इतना सोच लो कि आपके धंधे से, आपके बिजनेस से, आपकी कंपनी से कैश जा रहा है या कैश आ रहा है, right? How, whether cash is going out or cash is coming in. Okay, that is number one. Number two, how much cash is going out, how much cash is coming in. अगर आप इतना समझ जाओगे, your cash flow will 100% accurate every time. Okay. Number two, when you have to have a confidence and command over the cash flow statement, because it is one of the toughest and complex area, you need to ensure all the line item in the balance sheet should be ticked and all the additional information in the P&L should be ticked. If everything has been ticked, then your cash flow should always tally. Your net cash changes should always, when you add with the opening cash and cash equivalent, it should tally with the closing cash and cash equivalent, right? Whenever there is a bank overdraft, it has to be adjusted from opening cash and cash equivalent and closing cash and cash equivalent. Other than bank overdraft, you are not required to adjust anything in the cash and cash equivalent. These are the 3-4 basic principles. Is that okay to everyone, guys? Is that okay to everyone? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, perfect. So friends, Saminathan is saying, sir, when tax bifurcation not provided for each activity, can we fit into operating activity? Yes, Saminathan. Normally, if the tax bifurcation is not provided, it is not written, it is not given in the question, please consider the entire tax in the operating activity, right? Entire tax in the operating activity. Okay. So friends, I'm not feeling well today. So can I conclude the session in the next 5-6 minutes? If you have any question, so I would be happy to, explain the concept for the cash flow. And then I would like to conclude the session in the next
Sir?
5-7 minutes. Yes.
Sir, can you take the last concept of foreign exchange gain?
Yes, foreign exchange gain. Okay, on the cash and cash equivalent, you want to take me through the cash and cash equivalent foreign exchange gain or losses?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Okay. So can I take the question number 3, which is there for the foreign exchange? In the question
Yes,
number 3, yeah. Okay, let's discuss question number 3. Yes. Z Limited has no foreign currency cash flow for the year 20x1. No foreign currency cash flow. It holds some deposit in a bank in the USA. The deposit, it holds some deposit in a bank in the USA means cash and cash equivalent, right? The balance as on 31st December 20x1 and 31st December 20x2. So here, the financial year is a calendar year. Okay. The balances on 31st December x1 and x2 is given, which is 1 lakh US dollar and 1 lakh 2,000 US dollar respectively. The exchange rate on 31st December 20x1 was $1 is equal to 45 rupees. $1 is equal to 45 rupees. The same on 31st December 20x2 was, so $1 lakh balance was on opening, right? So opening में कितना था? $1 lakh. Closing में it become $1 lakh $2,000. So you have given the foreign currency bank balance $1 lakh, $1 lakh $2,000, and you have also given the foreign exchange rate, which was 45 rupees per dollar and 50 rupees per dollar in the opening and closing. Now tell me, if $1 lakh was the opening balance and the rate was 45 exchange rate, what was the amount in INR?
45 lakh.
And if the closing balance is $1 lakh $2,000 and 50 rupees the exchange rate, what is the amount in INR?
51 lakhs.
50?
1 lakhs.
51 lakh. So this balance has moved from 45 lakh to 51 lakh. Do you think that this entire 45 to 51, this 6 lakh journey, 6 lakh increase is a cash increase?
Yeah.
It's a cash increase.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's a cash increase. It's a cash movement.
No, it is exchange movement.
No.
It's an exchange movement. See, your dollar balance was 1 lakh and 1 lakh 2,000 only. Okay. Since your rupee becomes cheaper and dollar becomes costly, so this movement, when you're translating into INR, you are getting a variance of 6 lakh rupees. But this 6 lakh rupees is not the cash movement. There is no cash flow. There is no cash movement. In the upside, there is no cash movement of 6 lakh rupees, right? So the cash movement is $2,000 only. The cash movement is $2,000. Okay. The same is given. Thus, the deposit was reported at 45 lakh in the balance sheet in the opening and 51 lakh in the balance sheet in the closing, right? How these transactions should be presented in the cash flow for the year ended 31st December 2002 as per Ind AS 7. Okay.
7.
So friends, the P&L was credited by how much? The P&L was credited by 1 lakh. 2,000 multiplied by 50 towards interest income. Okay. So why this 2,000 is interest income they are considering? Because this was a deposit and they are saying no cash flow. There was no currency cash flow. There was no foreign currency cash flow. It means this 1 lakh become 1 lakh 2,000. It means there is a 2,000 rupees of interest on deposit. Correct? यही होगा ना? This 2000 rupee is on the interest on deposit, right? So in the P&L, this deposit was credited 2000 multiplied by 50, 1 lakh rupee. Okay. It was credited by exchange difference of 1 lakh 50 minus 45, that is 5 lakh rupees. So your opening cash and cash equivalent was $1 lakh. It was restated at 45. Now it is getting restated at 50. So what is my forex movement? What is my forex movement?
5 lakhs.
$1 lakh multiplied by change in the foreign exchange rate. 50 minus 45. So 1 lakh multiplied by 5. 5 lakh is my forex movement. 1 lakh is my interest income in INR, converting at the closing rate. Right? Is that clear? In preparing the cash flow statement is 5 lakh exchange difference. So first of all, tell me when the profit and loss was credited, P&L. So let me show you the P&L here only. So in the P&L, what was credited? In the P&L, your interest income was credited and forex unrealized
gain.
Unrealized forex gain. Correct? This is interest income is how much? Interest income is 1 lakh and forex gain of 5 lakhs.
5 lakhs.
What is the total? The total is
6 lakhs.
6. The total is 6. So you understood the breakup of the 6 lakh? You understood the movement? Is that clear to everyone? Right? Yes. Now I have to prepare my cash flow statement. I have started with my profit before tax. So in the profit before tax, what should I add? What should I add?
6 lakhs.
6 lakh. 6 lakh I should add. So
negative.
6 lakh I should add, but can you please clarify the breakup of this 1 lakh and 5 lakh? This 5 lakh rupees, whether it is a non-cash item or it is a non-operating item?
Non-cash item.
Unrealized forex is a non-cash item. And what about interest income? Where this interest income will go? Investing item. This is an investing activity, correct? Interest received is an investing activity, yes or no?
Yes.
It's a non-operating item. It's not a non-cash item, it's a non-operating item. So this 5 lakh rupee you have to add and 1 lakh rupee you have to add. So 1 lakh you will show in operating and show in investing. Operating से आप रिवर्स कर दोगे, इन्वेस्टिंग में दिखा दोगे. बट ये 5 लाख रुपीज तो आपका एडबैक हो जाएगा. एडबैक नहीं मतलब कम हो जाएगा बिकॉज गेन है यहाँ पे. इट विल रिड्यूस योर कैश प्रॉफिट. करेक्ट?
यस.
ये क्लियर है या नहीं क्लियर है आप लोगों को? इज इट क्लियर टू एवरीवन?
यस सर.
सिंपल है ना. योर प्रॉफिट इन द प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट, this profit is having an unrealized forex gain also. So when somebody is asking you what is your cash profit, what you will do? You will remove this 5 lakh rupees in the cash profit, right?
Yeah.
Right? So assuming there are no other cash flows, so how your cash flow will look like? Let me tell you. Operating activity. Assuming your entire, can you please mute yourself, guys? Operating activity. Your operating activity cash flows is how much? -1, -5, -6 lakh. Correct? The negative is your operating activity cash flow is this much. What is your investing activity cash flow? What is your investing activity cash flow? Interest income. You have received interest income, तभी तो कैश बैलेंस फॉरेन करेंसी का बढ़ गया. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir. 1 lakh positive. 1 lakh positive, right? This is plus 1 lakh. What is your financing activity cash flow? कुछ है इसमें? इस क्वेश्चन में है क्या?
No sir.
नहीं.
No sir. Thank you so much sir. Nil. What is your net cash changes? What is your net cash changes? -6 + 1 minus
-5 lakhs.
Minus 5 lakh. Now, this has to tally with your what?
Bank balance.
If I'll add this minus 5 plus opening cash, it has to be tallied with the closing cash. It has to be tallied with the closing cash. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what is my opening cash? My opening cash and cash equivalent. My opening cash and cash equivalent. So friends, here I have to do one thing. So since I have written this minus 6 lakh, I have to do one more adjustment. So when I credited my P&L looks like 6 lakh rupees, correct? Profit. This is my profit ना? Profit. Profit 6 लाख रुपए का P&L में आया होगा ना?
Yes.
So profit, how much is my profit?
6 lakhs.
6 lakh. है ना? This part also I need to take care ना? And your adjustments. Non-cash and non-operating. Correct? So what is my operating cash flow? What is my operating activity net cash flow?
0.
0. This is 0. Can you please write down this answer? This is 0. Nil. And what is my investing activity cash flow?
1 lakh.
1 lakh. So what is my net cash changes? Nil plus 1 lakh plus nil. It is plus 1 lakh.
Plus 1 lakh.
Plus 1 lakh. Is it clear to everyone so far? कि मेरा प्रॉफिट अगर कोई भी ट्रांजेक्शन नहीं है तो माई प्रॉफिट इज 6 लाख रुपए. आउट ऑफ माई प्रॉफिट 1 lakh is my investing activity income and 5 lakh is my unrealized forex gain. Unrealized forex gain I have adjusted. Okay. And this 1 lakh rupee is my investing activity income. So my real income is 1 lakh rupee. And what is my opening cash and cash equivalent, guys? What is my opening cash and cash equivalent?
45 lakhs.
45 lakhs. 45 lakhs. Okay. And what is my closing cash and cash equivalent? In the balance sheet. I'm asking about the balance sheet.
51 lakhs.
How much?
51 lakhs.
51 lakh. So net cash changes is 1 lakh. So 1 lakh plus 45. What it should be? It should be 46. But ये तो 51 है. तो क्या होगा? क्या होगा यहाँ पे? It is 51. So you have to add. You have to adjust. Adjust. Unrealized forex impact so that it will tally with your balance sheet. Okay. Unrealized forex impact of how much? 5 lakhs. So whenever there is a foreign exchange, whenever there is an exchange element in the foreign currency cash flow, in the foreign currency cash and cash equivalent, this unrealized forex impact on the foreign currency cash and bank balance has to be shown separately this way. Okay. Is that right? So in this question, while the question was only asking about your forex impact on the cash and cash equivalent, but I have shown you the P&L, I have shown you the entire cash flow statement, and then I have shown you the reconciliation. Your net cash changes plus your opening cash and cash equivalent should tally with your closing cash and cash equivalent in the balance sheet. So it should have been 46 lakh, right? But it is 51 lakh. So what is that 5 lakh? That 5 lakh is nothing. This 5 lakh is unrealized forex gain, right? This is unrealized forex gain. Okay. This is what I have adjusted here. This is what I have shown here, right? My operating activity is 0. So while I have earned a profit of 6 lakh, but my operating activity cash flow is 0. Why it is 0? Because of two elements. Number 1, non-cash item. Number 2, non-operating item. What is non-cash item? Unrealized forex. What is non-operating item? interest income, right? Which I have taken into the investing activity. Is it clear to everyone? Clear in mind or clear from mind? Friends?
Yes, sir.
Sir, clear, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So friends, now I would like to conclude the session and I'll hand over to Shilpa ma'am. So she's there. Yeah, over to you, Shilpa ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. Students, as we have in the last class, we have mentioned, sir, can you just stop your screen sharing? I want to share something with students. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Okay, students, last time we mentioned that we have already created WhatsApp group and we want you all to join. We found that some people have joined, but still the participants which I am looking here, some of them are still not have not joined the group. So we request them to join. This is for your benefit because whatever doubts you have, you can get it resolved from other students, from your peers also. You'll be able to understand the progress also. We'll be able to understand what is your feedback, what is your opinion about these classes, and how do you want us to improve it. Further, for in this series that continuing this series that we want to improve the sessions as per your expectations, we want to bring it up in the manner. So there's a feedback form also. And yes, last time also I mentioned that you all have to fill that feedback form, but nobody has filled it. See, mentioning it over here, chat that sir, the class was excellent, superb class, or thank you very much, special thank you. But it won't work until and unless you fill that feedback form. So what I am doing it, I am navigating you to the feedback form, and everybody who has participated in are there in here in the class. I would like you to go with me to that particular website, to the link, and fill the form. I'll be giving you 2 minutes. Huh? Just a minute. Let me first share my screen so that I tell you where to go, and you also go along with me and then fill the form. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Hope my screen is visible to you. See, I'm going to Institute's website. From here, Institute's website. If I go to this students BOS knowledge portal, we click here. Go to the BOS knowledge portal. You can directly go to BOS knowledge portal by typing BOS live at .ici.org, or you can go through this ICAI.org also. Here you have to give your login. Just fill your login with your registration number and your date of birth. Fill the just come to that page in this login page and you'll find. Okay, students. I'm sorry. So first tab is on feedback, and I want everybody to go to this feedback form and fill it. Please, just for this class, and if possible for the previous class also. Otherwise, for this class, especially this feedback form and fill it. Sorry. Sorry, please come again. Hello, who was saying something? Sorry, I missed exactly what you all are mentioning. Just, I'm giving 2 minutes. Please, it's request that everybody fill the form with today's date and with the faculty number.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. I tried doing it
Mm-hmm.
and it shows an error saying, sorry, please select proper lecture date and session.
You have to make, you cannot fill a general feedback. You have to mention the date. So if you're filling for 16th May, you have to mention 16th May and financial reporting and see Alok Girls.
Ma'am, actually, in the same way only we tried yesterday also, but the thing is that the date is incorrect, like that it's coming, showing error message.
Just a minute. Let me also log in with you all. I'll also try filling with. Just let me do it. Okay, I'm filling for 16th. I'm mentioning a morning session. Please select proper date. Okay.
Yeah. This is a message we received yesterday.
Okay. Thanks for bringing this to our knowledge. We'll try to rectify it. No? And we request you that something is going wrong. No? We'll look into that. No? Okay. we'll look into this, and we expect the matter will be resolved. This concern will be resolved by the end of the day. And in the next class, we'll again request you to fill this. Na? You can try meanwhile after this. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And everybody, students, and hope you are coming to this class after preparing with the questions which we have already uploaded. We have uploaded these questions for your till your 21st May classes. For 4-5 classes in advance, we have uploaded the questions, and hope everybody is able to see that.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Okay.
just to add what ma'am has told, so just to add, it is very important to come prepared in the class, because these are the revisionary class, and you should also go through with the question which Board of Studies and ma'am has shared. So if you will do at least these 2 steps, probably this revisionary class will be beneficial to you.
Quick and not be disturbing others also, because when you come prepared, you will be able to understand. Others will not tell you, we have to start with the scratch. So students, you have to just respect others also, and just please take care that come prepared. Then only you'll be able to get the optimum benefit of the session. And students, in case for that particular chapter you have any other doubt, you can mail us in advance so that we can make it available with this faculty well before time, and he's ready with the reply for you to solve it. Okay.
Ma'am, how can I join WhatsApp group?
We have already shared the link. Let me share it again. The WhatsApp group, I'm sharing it in the chat box. So this is the link which I have shared with everybody. I hope you are able to see in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am.
Just join that. Go to the link and join the group.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
One more thing.
I'm unable to fill the feedback form. Then this time, please write on WhatsApp group. So we are able to
identify the See, until and unless you let us know that this is the problem you are facing, we won't be able to resolve it. So you have to bring to our knowledge that something is there, some issues are there. These are technical issues beyond our reach. Na? But when we come to know, we definitely work on it and we rectify it. Okay. So, like as you mentioned that there's some problem in filling that feedback form, we'll take care of that and we'll try to resolve it by the end of the day. Okay. So anything, join this WhatsApp group, and any difficulty you are facing, not only for this session or for classes or something, any kind of problem you are facing, you can mention in that WhatsApp group. This group is meant especially for final level students. So any kind of problem you're facing, you can put it there. Ajit is taking care of that group, and he'll let us know and we'll resolve it. We'll resolve it timely.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, students, thank you. Thanks a lot for this joining the session. And I believe that you please spread this publicize this session for you, because these are free for students and also for the students. So if you are looking into this, you are watching and you're finding it beneficial, we would like you to just propagate that to among your peer groups also. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, students.
Thank you, students. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.